Like, hello, everybody, and thank you for making time to come here.
Indeed, one of these up.
We've got two things to say, just to start off, and then I'm gonna not say anything else and let them do all the talking. First of all, Greg Hudson is this gentleman right here to my side, and he's, our brand new, first time ever in public here, city administrator. So, he comes from, most directly from Gilmer, Texas, which is east Texas, in the piney woods of Texas.
Okay, Marshall.
Oh, there you go. You understand how it is. So that's Greg, and maybe after you can just say hi. And then these are our fine gentlemen from Langford who has been, kind enough to be walking us through this grant to build our, comprehensive plan for the last couple of years. So I'm gonna let y'all just do your thing and,
We really only need.
Which
this
one? all right, I'll get it.
That's the packet that you get.
Oh, wait, excuse me, do you think we have the public here? Do you think we could say who the public is or?
You sure?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
could you start in the front row and go in the back and just say who you are? So we'll be one great workshop here.
Sure.
Thank you.
Maribel Cantu, and I represent the venue at the barn here at the bakery.
The
We have
bakery?
we have a venue in the back, so that's who I represent. Also, my husband and I have JM Custom Homes, and we do a lot of work here in Martindale.
For everyone, all
Yeah.
over Manadale.
Is it, you said Maria Cantu?
Maribel,
Maribel?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And you?
I am Lorenda Torres and I own the Red Barn Bakery and Cafe.
Oh, wonderful.
Catherine Blaze.
Oh, I thought you were in the My name is Michael Grubbs. I'm the grant administrator for the Martindale Community Library.
Okay.
Back row.
I'm Bernardo Rater. We own several properties here with the intention to add value to the community.
Jennifer Pratt with the Park Advisory Board. That's me, Sean.
Okay, I'm Bill Hamilton, I'm representing the Saltville County Emergency Services District number 3 and Martindale Fire Rescue.
Jane Cardiff. And I represent the community. And the historic commission.
Yes. My name is Celia Warner. Cecilia Murphy, representing Walking Every Day.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
And Chief Ward.
Chief of Police.
Thank you so much.
If y'all wanna cheer. Sometimes it's hard to see these math on the screen.
I think we're sure.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. And you know what? I know Maury, wherever Maury's name is, he's not gonna be here, so you can use his too.
And what's this?
Oh, okay.
What's it?
That's the road CIP.
Goes with it?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're kind of separate, but. There you go. Oh.
Is there one more?
There's,
I think Terry's.
are we expecting the other
Terry said
guests?
she was coming. Terry said she would be late to work, but she was coming.
So.
Yeah, mics are backing the progress.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hey,
Okay.
good.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, you've forgotten who I am. I'm the Langford Community Management Services, Chief Planner. And Judy Langford, our owner, they've never had a planning group, so I got to be the first and to do I came specifically to do this kind of work, and Dennis and I worked together, at GLO, so we're getting a routine, so, Dennis Koo.
Yeah, I'm Dennis Koo, I'm the senior engineer on the project, so I do all the analysis of the infrastructure needs, both now and then in the future. So.
Okay, what today is in the GLO timeline, we're at what's called milestone 3, where we're submitting a preliminary plan that's 50% or better. Yours, we're beyond 50% on yours, but there's some areas we're still catching up. We'll talk about those as we go through the plan. So our mission is to present to you, get feedback, plan with you how we want to go forward. Because from here forward, it's going to be editing a final plan document. So that's going to be a little bit different. And talk about our planning portal that's online that you can go to, see anything that we show you here, and take surveys. Most of all, make comments that we can capture. You either put them on a map, or you can just put them on the splash page if you want. So it's meant for everybody. That's so, mess it up if you want to.
Has anyone actually been in the portal to make comments or to look at the document?
I haven't worked on it, but I haven't commented or anything. It's a lot.
It's a whole lot. You sent feedback on it, when they very first asked us to send it in. You were like the first person to have actually gone through it all. And it is a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's what the feedback we've got is pretty heavy duty, You guys live in that world, you talk like that, the rest of us don't do that.
That's right.
We're really working on ways of finding the shortcuts and making it more interactive at the start instead of go find the button and push it kind of work where, you just come in, there's a big bar there if you want to go see the plan itself, or if you want to go to the interactive mapping. So it's, shall we say, it's at 50% as well. So it'll get improved, and the beauty of it is social pinpoint used elsewhere for doing your local planning management, where you can do zoning cases and put those up to get comments and make it easy for people who can't make a P and Z to at least get their concerns met in this forum. So that's something we'll talk about at the end of the project, how you want to go forward with it. But this is just straight PowerPoint now, and then we'll talk about the portal in a couple of slides.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Speaking of, I got ahead of us again. Yeah, so each city where we have the planning timeline, we probably will make that a little more iconic, and not just a lot of text explaining what it is. Make a image or something that tells you what that means. And then that if you haven't, this is the scan code.
You can scan that QR with your phone and.
QR, and then we'll have it at the end of the presentation as well. So, okay, guess we get that. So what we started is we've written all the chapters to some level of completion. Some of them were completed, and but overall we're at that milestone where we're going to submit it after this to GLO for their review of the preliminary plan so far. Part of that is also they're reviewing, talking about the new goals and objectives, not the ones we started with at the beginning. And then also hazard areas. It's a different subject. I don't want to drag you into that, but we'll tell you about it on the portal when we do it. So key statistics are that the common estimate right now is that 1,385 people, and we we run models from 0.5 up to 3 on projection annual growth. So where we landed is we're recommending that we, for now, use 2% as our annual growth rate.
How did you decide that? I know that the census is using 3%, so why did you pick 2? Like what did you base that on?
From Caldwell County's growth rate and some regional stuff from Capcom.
Mhm.
But yeah, I've been be aggressive if we wanna, it's just a number.
We don't agree with this number, this is part of the process.
Oh, that's fine. No, I just was curious.
No,
That one should get straight on.
We will run that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's,
Right, so,
argue with us if you
yeah,
don't think that's the right thing.
this is the conversation.
So, yeah, so 3% would probably get us up to 2045. We're estimating 2066, which is the plan is a 20-year horizon. So that's what we plan out.
I understand some large developments
So,
going on.
2000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seen any impact? So there are growth pressures here inside the city as well. So we may need to up that number a little bit.
I don't know. I really don't know. That's in a ballpark. You know?
Yeah, we could talk to some other.
We were just talking about it with TxDOT the other day with regard to the traffic pattern on 80. And so I was curious because they weren't entirely sure what to go with either. I think they ended up doing 4%, but saying that it was kind of a shot in the dark. They weren't real clear.
They might have expanded the whole traffic area.
Yeah, because they were saying they feel like it's going to, the throughway traffic obviously is going to be expanded quite a bit, but then they feel like it's gonna level off as well. So they thought, I think they were trying to estimate maybe a 5-year period. They were like, it's gonna bubble and then it'll come back down, so.
Yeah, when we look at the land use map, it's very similar to other communities.
Mhm.
Where you've got a lot of houses that just aren't in the city limits, but those people fill as much of Martindale citizen as the guy who lives across that dotted line on the other place. But we don't count them.
Right, right, I know.
So what we're trying to get to, is starting from here and using the new planning area that we're recommending, and that we've done the land use plan for. I think if we run numbers against those, land use
Mhm.
types,
Mhm.
I think we will probably be getting that more to 3,000 or more
Mhm.
in the next 25 years.
Yeah, one thing I might add is that we have looked at the proposals of 2 developments, and the wastewater treatment plans are in the library right now. So the Grafton development that's over there by Westridge, when they're fully all phased out, that's gonna be 1,900 units. The other proposal, which was Walton, is Silver Crossing. That's another 900 units. So we're looking at about 2,700 prospective units. I just talked to Martindale Water Supply, and they say the amount of water that they have left probably is to build out maybe 800 to 1,000 living unit equivalents. They are hoping though with purchasing perhaps 3,000 acre feet of water in 2034. They're roughly saying that 4 living unit equivalents could be for each acre foot of water. So by 2034, they're projecting to have the capacity for almost 12,000 units.
Living.
So, I mean, it's nice to have these projections, and I appreciate what you have about the wastewater treatment plant, but I hope that, and you have looked at this, but really the 2 factors are water and wastewater. I mean, you can't do anything if you can't, I don't wanna say it, flush a toilet, so, I think that based on what I see on your projections, as you say, it'll be higher
Yeah.
than what you
Are these 2
projected.
developments in the city?
What is it?
Are these 2 developments in the city, or are these the ones on the outskirts of the city?
Well, they're not in the city limits, but the Martindale Water Supply
Yeah.
is hoping to
Yeah.
add,
Yes.
to give them the water. So the impact will be on our roads and our aging infrastructure, so. And we may make some money off of the sewer or the garbage, but yes,
More commercial activity. and-
yeah, sales tax.
So they're planning on sending their wastewater to the city of Martindale?
Well,
Or
no,
are they gonna build their own?
no, I mean, sometimes if it's a mud or a PUD or whatever, I mean, it depends if the city gets involved in the wastewater plant eventually. Then we'll maybe collect a little bit of the monies from the sewer billing fees, you know, and maybe make some money off of that, but. Yes, we wouldn't make as much off of it because it's not in the city limits.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's gonna impact our aging infrastructure.
Well, that's what's important is, you know, as we go through this. We all need to get past the city limits. I mean, so, go to the next one.
Okay,
Okay, this is the discussion of resilience. We talk about your hazards, and these are also from the hazard mitigation plan for the county. So these match those. However, because hazard mitigation is meant to be an action plan for 5 years, we take those short-term goals, and we roll them out to the 20-year horizon as a resiliency goal for your purposes. So that's how we integrate the hazard mitigation plan into your resiliency planning. You know, just the standard kind of things, prioritize your contingency plans, stuff like that. I didn't want to take a long time on that.
was flooding, where was flooding there? In the hazard,
It's a top.
oh, at the very top. Okay. That's the very first of mine. Yeah.
Yeah, partially so.
Sorry. No.
Give it
Okay, there.
away, I didn't say it too soon. A little more talk, what we've already started about housing estimates. Funny thing, the grant, it wants us not only to do a 10-year housing plan. But as you know, I mean, we can't just stop at 10 years talking about housing because we need to talk about residential development as you grow. So, I think they don't like to project out too much because market variability over the next 5-10 years. Here, average home value around 350,000. That's a little above state of Texas. About the average in the region. Median listing is 465. And sale prices they're getting are around 420,000, 420,000. And we also check the realty.com and Zillow and to make sure we're trying, what's the current market right now? And another issue about that is those guys, to them, any house that's within, if it's not in San Marcos and it's not, west of here, they're gonna count that in the Martindale market. So that could explain the, kind of high average home values that there's properties that they're counting in the market area and studying. So that's not
No,
just
that
for
looks-
strictly assuming.
But that looks about right for even in the city.
Okay.
I mean, except for the occasional homes that you see on the river, I mean, the homes that we have on the river now are anywhere from 750,000 to 950,000. So they're almost, a lot of them are all pushing $1 million now, believe it or not. So,
Yeah, so those numbers are probably right.
so maybe that's why the average is slightly higher.
Yeah, quite some comps to have if you're trying to sell your over here.
Yeah.
So ownership's near 80%, 24% renter occupied. And that's something we want to talk about when we talk about the demographics a little bit. Housing stock is a total of 485 in the city, 12% vacancy. 19% were built 1970 to 79. So what's that, we're at 50 years now. So, and we know there's older ones than that, so. That will be something we need to address in the housing study is what, you know, some regulations on what gets rehabilitated or what, you know, if there's gonna be a buying program for lots that don't have they haven't, you know, they're vacant, but they're not occupiable either, so regulations we need to work on later when we get to that part of the garden. Yeah, 2.6 is at the average household size, almost nationally. And, so 20% over 65. And the median age is older than the state and the region by about 9 years. The region's like 36. And we got like college kids and all that, so they get counted. But also it's, you know, shows an older but active group. I don't want to make it sound negative because I'm there too.
I'd almost think that the population over 65 would be higher than 20%. I've often heard that it is higher because we have really owner occupied retirees are in their homes. And so I think that 20% is a little low.
I think so, because people also tend to say that we don't have a lot of kids here, but we have more kids on average than Lockhart has. It's about 20% children and about 20% old people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's our demographic terminology.
That's right. That's right.
Kids just don't come out to play anymore, so you
Yeah,
don't see
you don't see them.
Yeah. Bothers me a lot. So
Boyish.
using that population estimate,
Can you point that thing?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask him, since they're mostly sitting that way,
yeah,
point at that.
I was trying to talk to them. So the real statistic here is this forecasting 223 either new houses or living units, as we talked about.
Adjust up, right?
I think that's very conservative. I think your need's gonna be a lot higher than that.
So we got some here, I mean, it's just.
Okay. Here we go. Here's our land use, and this has been a back and forth. We've been working with you guys, like I said, over the last year and a half. We have helped arrange what's called a charms workshop. That it's a special group. They work out at A&M. They're funded by FEMA to do floodplain mapping and analysis for certain counties that have a percentage of floodplain. So we got their input as well. So let's kind of do this slowly, get everyone oriented.
I know, yeah, I just wanted to go the other way.
So
Yeah.
this is what we came up with. Y'all want to talk about it because what do you mean by that? What we're saying is we're acknowledging it's already mixed use district. Your downtown, it's residential, it's commercial, it's recreational, it's, you know, highway commercial. So what we're recommending for your land use category, which doesn't mean zoning, it just means this district that we identified as a mixed use. And with that, we wanna, I guess I'm getting ahead of special study. Your main two things are linear, which is Highway 80 and the river that drive how the land has been parceled and oriented, and even today it's the same way. But we came up with, we think we captured what you guys talked about with us, which was trying to create a commercial corridor that's got different design standards than just typical commercial. That they may, some type of style will be fun when we get into special study. Well, what do you want? You want it to look like Route 66? This is what that could look like. Or you want it to look like Red Brick extension of downtown? That's Mike's talking about that.
Well, we
do it
do,
that way.
well, yes, excuse me, so we do have the scenic corridor, right? And so that is adapted mostly from, maybe you can help us with that. Were you in the council when you Bill, when you adopted the scenic corridor?
Oh, yeah, it was adopted a long time ago, probably about the time I was in the council. It was.
Could you mention that briefly, what it was, is significant about?
It was, well, it was in conjunction with not having billboards.
Yes.
But then it was also setting a standard for new construction there, where it would be something that would be not just a row of metal buildings, basically, what the goal was.
Okay.
It includes landscaping, it includes, the facade of the building, so forth. The most recent one, I guess, is our new fire station, and to meet the requirements of the scenic corridor, so it doesn't look like the metal building across the street from us. But that was grandfathered because, that's all, I think it's got a positive thing.
That's great.
A lot of it was built prior to that, so there's still a lot of, it's not a scenic corridor going down 80 necessarily, it was getting better.
Thank you. He's lurking in the back, he says. That's great. I didn't mention that at the same time, we're doing the comp plan process. We've got another planning firm looking at your regulatory, zoning and subdivision regulations. And we'll be assessing anything we find in that. And the idea is first to look at your governance of development and check for resiliency, best practices, things like that. From that, we'll be making recommendations for either policies or ordinances or updating an ordinance or putting more beef into the scenic corridor and expand it maybe if that's what you guys decide. If it's effective now and you just want to extend it, we could do that or set up different standards for here. But you did along 80?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You mentioned mixed use and the word recreational together, and I think all of our mixed use, which is a narrow strip along Main Street mostly now, is more so considered more of a retail mixed use than a recreational mixed use. I think that we're apprehensive and afraid of certain recreational uses, so we need to be very cautious when we use the word recreational with mixed use.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I got you.
yeah.
So I've got a question, as y'all been talking, is there a time during the year or months or whatever that the population of Martindale increases substantially from what it currently is? Do y'all have events or something where, like, for instance, in Gilmer right now, it's the Yanmaree population was swelling 80,000 and the population of Gilmer was 5,000. Do y'all see any of that going on?
Not that large of a thing. You do have more people during summer because they like to be in the river. But it's not that good.
And along those lines, do you know of any snowbirds that come down from, they come live here in the winter and they live up in
Somewhere else, but
Minnesota or, I was in Port Aransas and we are, right after Thanksgiving, the population just started. We hit hundreds every week and by January, we doubled our population on the island. It was always a challenge because, you know, it's temporary support. You can't build everything out just to support that part of the year. So came up with some clever ways of doing it. But I can see, you know, a community like y'all's drawing that kind of, you know, clientele. They like to come stay in a little town, kind of get into it.
In regards to this Martino future land uses, I assume this is meant to kind of work itself into a document that's a comprehensive plan that they can pass. Will this then future land uses be adopted? Will that affect some type of the kind of planning and approval process for specific developments in these areas?
It's meant to be a guide, and you have to have an adopted land use map to amend your zoning ordinance or if you don't have one, then a zoning ordinance can't be adopted till you've adopted your land use map. So I know we kind of use parcels to show this. We usually kind of like to be a little more conceptual on the land use. And from these, we'd hope to, well, we don't hope, what we'll do, what are the possible uses? Not restrictions, but what are the possible uses? But preferred uses, that's probably a better term for it. So for city staff to be able to talk to, you know, property owners, developers, and, you know, share the vision of the city about what they think or what you guys think you would like to happen in this area.
I think to answer your question, if you create, the land use map can inform your zoning codes, right? And if you adopt those codes for that area, then it becomes a permitting, right? But the land use plan itself is not a regulatory document. It only informs basically the city and the city attorneys, whoever, when you decide, like, we do want to enforce this, you know, some sort of code in this area, and these are the types of uses and all that stuff that goes into doing a zoning ordinance and controlling growth and standards for housing and all that stuff. That's when that becomes, you know, part of permitting. But not, the land use map itself is not, that makes sense. Like he said, it's more like, what do you desire in this area?
Yeah, it's just the things that I'm looking at is, you know, one of the previous slides was talking about, you know, future demand for houses, and particularly there was a, you know, component where, you know, having the diversification in the types of houses, right, or living units. And from here, in regards to rent, like I see quite a bit of like commercial mixed use downtown, government, but I cannot see any, like, and then in regards to residential, I only see single family. I'm wondering if there's any plans to consider any other type of residential accommodation that's not single family.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's a single family. It could be Z-lots, you know, I mean, compact developments that are just a single lot. But I mean, we would say that much area, there's opportunity for multifamily, and
Or mixed use of one.
Yeah, mixed,
For commercial.
yeah, bigger mixed commercial residential development is what we hope to draw to that part of the city where we said mixed use, but that doesn't mean, you know, if they came in with a good plan, Dr. Greg, and he's shown, well, okay, this is what we had in mind for that area. Convince us that we should change it, you know, but, well, you know, what is it you want to do? And then that'll go through the P and Z and to the council as something to consider if we want to make an adjustment to your land use plan. Usually at that point, you're getting into talking about annexation and what you want the zoning to be, so, but in the early days of speculation, don't want to see what we've created that we want Martindale to be in 2045.
And then, that large, sort of, this large kind of green part that talks about open space.
Mostly floodplain right there.
It's mostly floodplain. right?
Yeah. That's all. Yeah, and in those cases, what we probably do, what I'd do if I were your director of planning, I'd talk to you, if you're interested in that, I'd talk to you about doing a floodplain study and identifying what could be developable land. And then we bring it as maybe either special district, or if it needs that, or if it could be standard zone, we could put in the zoning case for, you know, like, you know, this top up here is out of the floodplain and you've done your study, well, then that could be developable land. But we also, I mean, we wanted to also make sure that with all that single family,
Yeah, there used to be.
Open space,
open space.
ball fields, and some of it's passive recreation, trails alone only, and then some areas that could be.
You know, it's just, I'm not sure if it's more efficient for use if people have smaller parcels of parks in different areas so that the community that lives around, the people that live around that area can actually walk to the parks. Otherwise, they rely on, you know, if there's this big open space in the middle, people have to go into their cars, go there, and it becomes less usable. But again, you know, these are just some ideas, you know.
Oh, well, you know, if somebody's coming in building developments like you're describing, you're gonna, I mean, city will be
The
negotiating
assumption would be
open
that
space.
if any of the single family in the city would be that if the city desires to be pocket parks, that's something you're working out with the developer, in the single family area. It's typically how it's done. Yeah, you don't identify the area for the park as he's gonna do that, right? Once you come and say, got so many homes, we want a park for so many homes, therefore, then he'll pick out the area he doesn't want to put his homes, right?
What did you call that? A pocket park?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah, bucket park.
Pocket park. Okay.
Yeah, it's the ones that are, you know, yeah, you know, they lay out the subdivision and they don't, the geometry doesn't quite work, and you get a chunk of land between two, you know, privacy fences, and I live in a 55 plus, and our big thing is that we have trails everywhere. You walk behind everyone's houses, we just talk. It's like, what are y'all doing tonight?
On the projection of the single family housing, the yellow on the upper part of the page, going up towards Reedville, I think a lot of that needs to be taken into consideration of it being the ETJ of San Marcos and the 2,000 acre smart terminal that is actually semi-industrial. And so I think you may have to have a smaller or an overlay of the ETJ of San Marcos that's coming in from that side. And the smart terminal is almost all the way across to Reedville now.
Okay,
So I think.
so yeah,
estimates
single family wouldn't
wouldn't even exist
like
there.
that to industrial.
Yeah.
That's a good catch. And if there's areas that you don't need to consider, we can carve it out of this. This isn't a legal boundary or anything. This is your city limits, then your extraterritorial jurisdiction. And then what we did was bring in parcels that were either touched by the ETJ line or adjacent to it. That's how we created your greater planning area. But this is also the time to talk about the, like these service areas. Some communities have said, we view our community really as the school district. If there's a really small town, so that's their identity. So they kind of want us to plan out to the school district boundaries, even though it's beyond their extraterritorial jurisdiction. So, and then others have, asked to own strategic corridors where there could be, growth along those corridors to add those in as part of your future land use plan, just so you at least have something on record to say, yes, we support development there, but here's the things we want there. We want the same standards as our scenic corridor. And if they want to, then the annexation discussion is going, and that's when the deals get made. But part of this is to help you do those deals with knowing that the community is behind this. And it's clay. We can remold this. We start doing a special study and drill down into that area in the middle. We may discover other things that from this high a view, we're not really seeing yet. There may be pathways that can be good urban trails and things like that. We anticipated that would be potentially shopping center type development. Grocery store as an anchor.
No, people want a grocery store real bad.
Start getting the subdivisions will be.
Yeah, well, so, get the rooftops.
Be the one somewhere.
And you got a place for them if they do come, or if something better comes along. We wanted to, because everything else is kind of small scale on your commercial, so we wanted to identify where we think a larger scale commercial would be best for you. And if that community comes from the west, we can just change the land use plan to match that interest rate.
And what's GOVE multi-use, the blue?
Governmental. I think there's already is there an ESD site here or something?
The what?
I don't know if there's a well site here or.
It's a wastewater plant.
Yeah, that's our, I guess that's our wastewater treatment plant in the evaporative ponds.
Exactly what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's also zoned R2 there, I think.
No, it's not in the city limits, in that blue section. We were just looking at that. The yellow is.
Yellow is Westridge.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
That one.
Yeah, but the blue is not. It's ETJ, so it's not zoned R2.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll look that closely. If it's not compatible uses, that's what we want y'all to guide us on is. These are your rules, if you don't want certain uses next to each other, or, there's some standard planning practices. But again, if you don't really know the activity and you're doing it from this view that we use, you could be guessing wrong, and then like something like that where we've got, low density single family identified next to the industrial, super industrial site, which that's gotta go. Also, so there you go. So obviously what we've done also is show green belt along the river. And I know you have some river plans or some things in place for. Maybe, but I know there's areas of the river y'all might want to consider to be a nature preserve instead of just active and available for everybody to you know, practice soccer or whatever. But so we kind of look at what kind of the same way we look at these arterial roads as your commercial corridor. We like to look at your river or water bodies as, you know, recreational corridor. And put just as much effort into planning out what you want by the river, because that's what's gonna be, you know, say, and you're gonna affect a lot more than out here away from it. So we'll address that in special studies, whatever. Any of these issues that,
Doing more comments on things now.
yeah, no observation of goals,
And you see there's a,
you know,
on the red section where it's, commercial on the left hand side. Right there, just close to the river, there's kind of the green open space.
yeah, we got it right there.
That's currently our one residential.
Yeah, I was gonna say, those lots are sold. Those are sold already.
But there is a,
Beat us to it.
in the corner of that intersection of Small Bridge and.
Yeah.
Oh, we make it mixed and stuff,
Single family.
yeah. So, there's inclusive residential growth that's looking at different housing types and, you know, but the popular one now, rather than Georgetown, is additional dwelling units. They used to be called mother-in-law plans, and heck, I might even be doing this with my son in a couple of years, but you know, going in and building another housing unit meant to have a older couple or single person there living on your lot with you. That's getting pushed hard by the housing advocates. And, you know, if you have enough land that makes sense, why not, you know, but,
Well, the only problem I see with that in conjunction with our water supply is that Martindale Water Supply says that if you have another living unit on your property that's not connected by, say, a covered walkway or something, then they consider that living unit equivalent a separate living unit equipment, equivalent, which then would require a separate water meter. Water meters currently cost $13,000, and so it's not like Austin where they're saying, okay, you can build 3 LUEs on one lot, you know? Maybe they would say then that you need 3 separate water meters, but when we start getting into all these now what we will be calling legal mother-in-law units,
Yeah.
which we have a lot of illegal or ones that were done in the past. Now the requirement is that it's gonna have to have a separate water meter, and that could impact the amount of the numbers of LUEs that we have available, say in terms of having them for single family homes as opposed to a 400 square foot
yeah, you'd be.
in-law
You're
unit in the back.
densifying your.
Yeah, the other thing, because I know that this topic was pretty big in the legislative session, and one of the things that I heard a few different small towns talking about was that their infrastructure won't handle that. If everyone puts another unit on their lot and then you have all of that additional plumbing, like for our wastewater treatment facility, we can do some, but like if it became a thing, we wouldn't be able to manage that very well without putting a real strain on the system.
Yeah, I think design standards, one way that you could control that, make sure it's at least to the standard of the house it's already on the lot, or better. Or do efficiencies, the different types of restrictive things that just make sure that it's not just a shack thrown there, back there for, temporary worker to hang out in. Nothing wrong with temporary workers, I'm just.
Just an example.
Yeah, for the community to support them better, you gotta know, they can't be in the underground, we gotta know where they are, what their needs are, what type of housing they need, so that's a real heavy, goal that gets into a lot of things about, and it gets to the community, what y'all really, what do you really want to go on here?
Yeah, clearly it became, when it becomes more advanced or you get that added population, you may need to do infrastructure. The city need to look at their way, so that's part of what this plan will do on a final draft, right? Because I'm not gonna do an analysis until you guys decide how much you wanna grow, where is important as well, right? And then I will do my analysis, say, might need to extend the line here, or you might need to expand this line and do a cost estimate or planning level cost estimate of what that would take. And that's part of the whole comp planning process, right? We're not there yet, because we gotta settle on future land use, the growth, the projections and all that before I can do my analysis. So if we decide if we don't want to grow, then we wouldn't have to expand any services, right? But if we are going to grow, then we're gonna do an analysis and say, your plant's fine and your lines are fine for this amount of growth up into this population or in these areas, or, you will need to grow, be planning for an expansion at this point based on the projections, right? Or how many additional people or businesses are gonna be in the area at a given time.
Yeah, we have Wimberley and they don't want to grow. They've got a no growth policy informally, but in their heart of hearts, and when we get to the core of the thing, they're, we don't want to create, strip commercial along these roads.
They don't own their utilities, so they're basically, it seems like their strategy to say, well, the one way to control growth is just not have wastewater, centralized wastewater, right? You're at 1 acre, that decision right there, that's growth. Right, and that's kind of the way they're headed because they don't want to grow. So you gotta think through those things. What do you want? How much do you want to grow? And that's all part of this whole conversation.
And you have another community that's looking at abandoning roads and just turning them into gravel roads and trails. Because they're it's item, they're kind of.
Well, how do you
Thanks.
how do you time it to where you create enough resources and wastewater, the capacity of your wastewater system? How do you make sure that it keeps up with it? You don't grow and surpass it, but you also don't create something that you don't need, or you spend money where you don't need it and there's no development. So how do you time it to make sure that you don't overspend or underspend?
We wouldn't build it, but it's not a build it and they will come. It's more like
staging
it. So the way the population projections and all that, right? We're looking to the future. The way I like to think of it is the population we may be wrong about when the population reaches a certain point. And I like to think of it as mileposts.
Okay.
So when we say, when you reach this population, you will, it's more important as the population than a year. It's like, when you reach this population, you will need this infrastructure or these resources for those people in the business that will be generated.
So does it ever happen that you reach that population and you don't have the resources and you have to try to
It
expand?
happens all the time.
So that's what I mean. So how do you
That's
make
the
sure
way
that?
most utilities operate.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not gonna build stuff, right? They'll build a little into the future, right? But they're not gonna go crazy out of the future. And so usually it's a catch-up game, right? You're getting, and TCQ has their rules, right? For a wastewater treatment plant, when you get 75% of your capacity of your treatment plant, you have to start planning.
Yeah, don't you get some time?
You better be building or you're not.
Yeah, because you have some time, because the developers say, this is what we wanna do, and this is how many people it can accommodate.
Correct, and they're coming, either they're coming to you, it's your utility, right? So you're gonna know, say, hey, we've got someone who's wants to build 200 units over here.
Mhm.
So then you're gonna know, right? So you've got some time and you gotta go then, maybe you have to expand your treatment plant. Or change your treatment plant, or y'all, you have giant land, right? Your system is inefficient as far as the land use, right? It takes a lot of area to treat, so you all suddenly needed to treat more waste and easily use that. When you've got the space, you would just change your treatment, right? You can use oxygen to shrink your treatment plant footprint.
Mhm.
And then you can suddenly treat a whole lot more, right? And so you're lucky that you have that reserve because you have an option. There are a lot of places that don't have an option that they're in, and then they've got to acquire land to go build a treatment plant, and that's not an easy thing to do these days. But, to answer your question, you're usually, just like the water supply corporation, right? They're kind of a little behind the 8 ball, not quite. They've got enough for a little bit, but if I already talked to them about these developments and their plans, and the water's coming, it'll be here, right? And they're working with the developers to bring it, way down there. GBRA is bringing a big line, it's gonna go all the way to San Marcos, go all the way over there, right? And that's part of the water y'all are getting. And in the future, it's coming to this area.
Carrizo, Wilcox.
Yeah, the Carrizo Wilcox, they're doing a big project to pump it out, but they're also doing an off-base recharge the aquifer. The water that they're pulling out, and so that's already been planned, the first segment's already, being built. I think the first segment's actually built, but another segment, the larger segment is already, it's going, and it'll be here, I guess it'll be here 2034, I thought they told me it'll soon, but it's not as far off as you think it is. And so.
In development, yeah.
The developers depend on it, right? They can't build the densities without like you're saying, it's all about water and wastewater. And so the one thing the city has to attract developers and get them to play balls, you have wastewater, centralized wastewater. So that's something that you can play. Our communities that don't have that are kind of stuck. Because the developers, there's nothing at all, except the opportunity to tax.
Well, I guess based on what type of businesses you develop, then you would know what type of, how much water they would use, or,
Correct.
if it's a residence, then it would use this amount probably. If it's a business,
If
then,
it's a restaurant versus a retail store, it's a
Correct.
different story, right?
Yeah, measured in LUEs.
Whoever your city engineer.
If you don't, LUE, does everyone know what that means?
Develop.
But it's living unit equivalent. And it's the way utilities are planned, water utilities are planned to, like, you do a home, your average is 2.5 people per house, and that's an LUE with 2.5 people, but you might have that same number of LUEs for a commercial store. Then if you have apartments, you'd have 25 LUEs to that, each one count as that.
okay.
So we're kind of throwing these terms around.
And those are all things we can write into the policy recommendations for You know, if you want to start having standards for that, right? And that way it allows the city staff, the planning staff, and the engineer or whatever to have something so that, and, you know, the developers will know, right? It's like, okay, they require this. Well,
Yeah, we had the engineer a year or so ago do a study for us of how much would it cost to improve the infrastructure of the outlying neighborhoods such as Hobson Ranch, Butterfly Meadows, Spring River, the falls, all of those, and it was, I think, like $20 million to bring them all off of their septic tanks and to bring them to our wastewater treatment plan. And then I think we were considering having to pay like 1% of that, and it would have been $2 million. And there's no way that this town at that time, or even now, could have come up with $2 million. So
It's not paid like, here's a bill for $2 million.
it's over a
It's
period of time.
divided by
We bond it.
long.
Okay,
Or
okay.
get a loan, or you have to find a way to finance the water. Hopefully a grant, right?
Yeah, it was a couple of communities are coming up with hybrid services where you keep your septic tank, but we sell you water, or the reverse, and if you got a problem with the tanks out there, get them on your central system. They can just keep using it well. A lot of different variations. Okay. Fix that. This is the major roadway. It's just the beginning, but we're showing, maybe, obviously the major arterials, a minor or the orange. And basically what you're saying is, if it's a major arterial, it either intersects with a road of the same level, the state level, or higher, like that one goes to I-35, so in 130, so it connects to two interregional highways, so that makes it major. Minor arterials intersect with major arterials and in with collector roads. So you'd have this arterial, then if this was split out, you'd have collector roads coming down the arterial to get people out and going west. So for now, we identified that seems to be something that we want to check the regional transportation plan. I don't know what they have up there. I'm sure the San Marcos CPO has something. And then the identifying these roads for potential treatment, may not be, not just fixing the road, but yes, like, you might decide you want hedgerows or landscaping or making it a scenic.
Does the county have any of their own thoroughfare plans?
Yeah.
And have they been overlaid to reflect that? Okay.
Yeah, they had more kind of in and around.
In and around, but not within the city.
They're supposed to do a major study, MaxDOT is, of 80 from the edge of town out to Ruling. That's sometime next year, they'll be doing that, and that's when they're going to figure out what they need to be doing in terms of thoroughfares. I know they're also having a lot of conversations right now about making more connections between San Marcos and 130. So they've got 80 identified as one of the potential roads they'll start really beefing up. So if that is decided that they're gonna do that, then we would see a substantial increase in traffic coming through eighty.
Yeah, I can't imagine that there could get to be more traffic.
I know,
Make them do a roundabout out there.
right?
No.
They're gonna need a stoplight
Yeah.
for y'all's neighborhood, and unfortunately, if they're trying to make it a thoroughfare, they're not gonna want stoplights.
Yeah,
No, if you try, I have to turn left in the
especially
morning.
in England, we drive on it.
I just read a book until the traffic slows down a little.
Yeah, so y'all want to be ready to, because we'll have public input, so with this plan, we're gonna help you arm you, go lobby for what you want to happen along. If they're gonna do treatment day. We've got design standards already in place, they've got to honor
This feels a little bit like when I'm trying to remodel my home and I have all these great plans that I wanna do, but then when I find out how much they cost and I try to put them into action, I kinda go, okay, maybe that's not exactly what I can do. So it just seems like there's so much to consider. It seems like it's just so, I mean, it's a wonderful plan. It looks beautiful and all these things are great, but how do you implement it in a timely manner, in an efficient way? Where you're, like I said, I mean, it just, and maybe I'm just dense, I don't know. Maybe this is something a lot more simple
No,
than I know, but
comprehensive.
it seems like there's so many factors involved that some of them we don't really have control over.
That's true. That's, when we talk about our area, there's, I like to talk about, an area of concern, which is your immediate area around your city. You got an area of influence where it's beyond your ETJ, but you have ways of influencing what could happen in there with the county and then there's an area of interest, and that's something you want to keep an eye on and see, make sure that, something's not
So we
go,
have to stay in.
go upstream and ruin your water system.
Mhm.
It's just a simple example. But these roads from I-35 to 130 is, that's a big deal.
If it becomes a connector at 138, you're gonna see a lot more traffic, right? So one of the things you should make sure you negotiate with TxDOT is that there's access over there still.
Yeah,
Access.
That's kind of
Because.
I was looking at that
That's
as
why we show that as a commercial corridor, right? That drives your tax revenues up, right? If you can actually start to get businesses. Now you're starting to see the future where maybe we can afford those things, right? It's all. Right, and it's, the timing may be different than what we say, but when it happens. That's right, this is the plan, it's like when it happens, what do we want, how, like, he's the city gonna be, if he's the city manager, he's gonna want to like see. As much tax revenue as you can get, right, but then that goes into city coffers and you start affording things. That's kind of what we're trying to lay out, is how do we get to the future, right, and so. We're seeing along 80s one of your major opportunities for that, right? Having businesses there.
Well, and even some of the numbers for the number of vehicles that travel those roads, some of those are already lower than what they are now, like. So each time you do the studies and then it increases, so I guess you have to allow for that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than a year ago.
Right.
Starting to put that, like when I came out here, it's like, wow, we've been line with it.
Yeah.
It's happening, it's already, you can see it starting already.
It reminds me when I was the planning director in Hutto back in early 2000s, and 130 was being built, and we had 79 as the middle vein of the city. Not 179, Highway 79. Like you got US 80, We started in the middle. We did a Harlem Hutto plan that was focused on what we hope to do with you on your special study to include silos. And been Hutto, you'll see what came about with it and what was a hopeless cause at one point. But a plan that we did in 2005 is now sitting there in Hutto with the huge city hall, a parking garage, the
Restaurant.
activity center where granary, that building there. That's an activity center that the Parks Department manages now. And it was always just sitting there right under your nose. And we just had to get the right developers in and we had to pitch it and it was a team effort and it worked. I mean, it was very, I mean, and not, you know, Jack Allen is a restaurant there. It's.
Well, have you seen how much Lockhart has grown?
Yeah.
And it's continuing to grow.
But when I was in Hutto, I was, we were, you know, I worked around right before then, so. That, you know, we were kind of like their little sister, is what they called us. Yeah, I'd go to the meetings and what's little sister want now? It's a water line. I need a water line, come on. So, but I can see that here, I can see where, you know, you got the opportunity to really turn this into a unique place that will get you overnight visitors and daytime traffic and, you know, the community that you guys designed. So that's really got all about the thoroughfare plan. Part of our transportation plan also is pedestrian and alternative means of alternative modes of transportation in proper way. So that's what we're talking about, like green corridors that would have trails, enhancing connectivity between any trail system and your sidewalk system. You know, trying to unite them as one, you know, one whole system that, hell, you know, you can, people come out to just bike here because you've got trails along the river and place to hang out here and that kind of traffic turns into word of mouth traffic, you know.
Yeah, we
Not gonna turn everything around immediately.
we drew up a plan of having a trail from Martindale going to San Marcos to hook up to the Great Springs Trail Project, which is that trail that they want to run from Austin to San Antonio.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to run through San Marcos, New Braunfels, and then eventually hit San Pedro Springs and San Antonio. So we did come up with a trail system to that trail as well. So we mostly had it going towards the east and then curved over towards San Marcos. So we were very excited about that.
You're able to get any easements or did y'all go that far?
It was mostly just a plan. I mean, we mostly tried to skirt it over areas of land that had not been developed yet, but I think we worked on that before.
Do we have that? Yeah,
We probably do some.
It's not available online or anything like that.
I don't think so, but we can find out.
everything.
We can consult with you
It
perhaps.
was a concept, basically.
Well, we can revisit it
Yeah.
now. Let's do that now.
Anything you've started, we.
That's, there we go. We got the green belt on the river.
Yeah, great.
Well, do you know, like the orange dotted line, I'm probably going back to something you guys already talked about. But
Across the top.
yeah, that's the smart terminal, maybe that part of the,
Yeah, we discussed that.
does it go
It's
through?
probably inappropriate to have single family up in that area because it would be adjacent to industrial probably.
Well, does that go across Quail Run?
It will eventually.
But it doesn't yet, or it does, or it's going to?
It's north of where Lanzola is where it's coming across to Quail Run, the smart terminal is. I think.
Okay.
Quail Run is right there.
Speak up, Will.
So, sorry, Quail Run's right there. This is probably the road that's gonna go all the way out and connect to that at some point in time. Text up with that heavy flashing lights and everything right there at the intersection right there. Quail Run.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they are planning to do that, in the next, like, 2 years or something. They're gonna finish out Quail Run off with that.
Oh, good. Okay, that's, they give us a head start on our downtown plan. Okay, we teased you enough. Now we're gonna talk about, oh, no, we gotta talk about something else.
Do you want me to-
Next slide, yeah. Yeah, this stuff. The real stuff. I do all the dreamy stuff and he does the real stuff. Well,
Welcome in, have a seat. Now, there's some cookies and drinks over there on the side table, thanks to Sam, if you would like any.
Thank you, Sam.
This is just a map of the water supply corporation system in the areas from Martindale. And so they were planning not to share their maps with us and we mapped it in GIS, which we will, if, as long as you're okay, that we'll give it back to them because it will be useful to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do have a participant tonight, that's on the board of Martindale Water Supply, so Joy is.
Joy is right here.
I appreciate her presence.
And, actually, that's funny that you have that map right there because we were planning to contact you and get a copy of that map.
We'll see if you're better.
Now we have one. Look at that.
Every one of
You can.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anyway, we mapped the system, you can see where. It's kind of hard to read it on this map, but you can kind of see the bigger lines along 80. I've already talked to their engineer, they do have some plans to upgrade. This water line along, SH80. Because they've got big developments going on over here and these going on over here. I think they're off the map like over there. And so, and like I said, there's a big regional water line coming this way. And so they're gonna tap into that and serve the different developments on each end. And so we'll have a larger water line coming through here, which should help y'all, right? Because if they've got more capacity along this corridor, what we're showing is the Highway 80 corridor, that's gonna help support.
Yeah, and denser development.
You know, denser and larger
Get
development
this energy center down.
along that commercial corridor. So, that's really all I have to say about this at this point. You can't really see much on this map. I will send you,
Thank you.
tomorrow. I'll send you, we've already posted these, to the GLO, so I will send that to you. You can go to the next one there. Okay, and this is your wastewater system. You can see where this is really important, right? You can see where it is not and where it isn't.
Right. Right.
So if we're planning on growth along this corridor, there's probably gonna be a need to do some upgrades, right? And then, like I said, you may need to be looking at changing types of treatment or some kind of upgrading your treatment plan or something like that someday, whenever this does happen. And so once we get to the future land use, kind of that nailed down in the growth projection, then we kind of drill down a little bit more and like, here's where we want to grow, types of growth and that sort of thing, and nail that down. Then I will check it. This will probably be more important to the city, right? Because what if the water supply corporation, control them.
Right.
Joy's here, but they have their own engineer. They can pay for their own analysis of what they need to do. And so, the city though, I will be looking at, what are the future conditions? Where is the growth desired or anticipated? And then what are the gaps, right? What do we need treatment wise? What do we need overall systemic wise, but also in what areas? It might be a local, like we need a big collector line along Highway 80. How much does that cost? And it's gonna be a scary amount, but at least right? Like it's a scary amount. It's like, well, it's a scary amount today, but we have, someday we need that line. So we know that the people are when that's happening, we'll at least have something to go. Well, back in 2026, they said it would cost this much, right? And so you've got some idea, right, of what you need to be planning for in the future. Looking ahead, at some point, you're gonna be approaching that point and you'll know it. Right, you'll speak on, hey, our treatment plant's at 75% and we're growing, or we're past that already, right? We're growing, we've got people asking us to develop along Highway 80. That's the way it's gonna happen.
That's where we are right now.
So, next slide.
I'm like, oh, wait, that's me. Hold on. Okay, got it.
Well, so we mapped your drainage system, what we could find, and we're happy. You can see the floodplain, right? So the purple is the floodway. That's where water's during this 100-year storm. It's moving. It's actually moving at velocity, a certain velocity. Then this lighter kind of blue here, then this blue are the 100-year floodplain. And then the very light cyan or whatever you want to call that color, green blue is the 500-year flood. And so you can see a lot of the area is located in there. So that is an important development consideration, right? And since this is
And Jerry's house is not, so we'll all be coming to your house.
That works.
that's really this way, north and
As
west.
long as I don't violate any ordinances, we're good.
What I've heard of, and Joy knows this as well, is we have the wellhead protection zone of all the waters that feed into our well system here at Martindale Water Supply. So in our wellhead protection zone is all was and is currently, most of it is fields. And so when I look at this map, I see a lot of stormwater and flooding coming down towards Martindale, which of course it does. But then we are talking about, which we are talking a lot about now, is impervious ground cover, which will be in a lot of these areas. And it'll also make that runoff more potentially damaging, because it is not only over our wellhead protection zone, which Martindale Water Supply has a map of, but yeah, that's just something. And I think that's one reason why this town hasn't grown, because it's all been fields and farming and flooding, fields, farming and flooding.
Yeah.
That's what we'll call the plant.
Well, that's good to know. Obviously, you would have to have policies in place to address that, right? You would probably have detention and water quality standards to be able to address all that.
Impervious cover.
And especially since this is a shield kind of resilience plan, we will include those kinds of recommendations, some of you to implement or not. But that would definitely be one of the things you probably would want to look at anyway. If you are gonna grow, you should be managing your stormwater. And making the developers manage their stormwater is really what you want, right? Because if the engineers do their job right, there should be no net gain, right? There should be no difference. If they build their ponds right and they size them correctly, that's the goal. During the 25 and the 100-year storm, you don't increase the runoff from the lot, it's zero. And so that's theoretically, right? And so having those standards will be important, right, in the future, or even now.
So you have to develop the standard before the developers build, so that they have to follow it.
Well, it's up to you, I mean.
We have several standards.
I know, but I'm talking about if it has something that comes up that's new and we have to create something, we would have to create an ordinance or
Correct.
before that happens.
Or some sort of.
Yeah, some negotiation.
I mean, it depends how much negotiating leverage you have, right? And if they want your wastewater service, if they're relying on, if the developer's relying on your wastewater service to build what it is, you've got leverage, right? And you can say, I know it's not written down, but you're gonna do this. If you're gonna develop here, you're gonna do this, right? And so otherwise you do need to codify it, right? So that it's written in black and white, and that's what we would recommend that you codify. So anyway, we mapped all your culverts, we got all that, we'll hand this map to you. You see anything about wrong, let us know.
And we'll also, we'll give it to you in shape files for Esri GIS, but we'll also give you KMZ files. You can use on Google Earth and use it for, if that's what you want citizens to go to. Yeah. And then just standard two-dimensional.
This next slide.
We did community facilities as a chapter, because of, again, this is carrying on the work that's done in the county hazard mitigation plan when they identify critical facilities, so. But they don't look at them like you look at them. What we wanna think about in our. So, yeah, you kind of centralized it. A lot of what this is to do an assessment of existing facilities. Are they, up to standard for what their mission is? You know, are they maybe up to standards for a secondary mission, like being a logistics point during a flood, evacuation site, or in a fire, you have fire safe buildings as part of your regular facilities as you grow and this facilities happen. The other thing, this also kind of ties in with the evacuation routes. I know that it sounds weird to say roads or facilities, but in this world, that's a community facility too, is your evacuation routes and making sure, say we score a big grant, we do a big nice sidewalk trail out to the west. That could be another evacuation route in an emergency. So, trying to help when we think about it a little harder when we do just decide on a community facility or consider one or dealing with the school district on theirs and bringing them into the system so that, that whole system's handled together. Also, the county ESD ought to be involved in that as well. So, but also, we have parks, trails, and rec in this chapter. Again, I believe they park facilities as well. So, anything on?
Maybe change the name of phase one to Nancy Martindale. Community, was it Community Park or Nancy Martindale Park?
Park, yeah, the only upgraded emergency facility, say we have, is the volunteer fire department. As he mentioned, is building a new facility, but the county did build a evacuation center in Luling, but if we have flooding trying to get there, we're almost surrounded by flooding creeks to get there. And so they've determined that it would almost be impossible for us to get there, really. So we need something, and we're working on that now with our current police chief. We're working on a emergency preparedness.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we do those crews, which.
Aren't you, Tommy? I see you there.
Well, little story. When I worked in Port Aransas, same thing, we have the ferry, you get on the bridge and go through Corpus, who's also evacuating. Or, wait for the ferry to get you over on the main route. So our emergency operations center was the city manager's seventh floor condo.
Wow.
So we had emergency equipment in there and, make sure the bar was stocked well and so the leave behind team would stay there and everyone else, if they couldn't evacuate, would go to Speed. I didn't get a chance to do that. That would have been fun. But that's kind of the thinking about, like, what can, without a lot of investment, repurposing something that's right under your nose. Yeah. Okay. We're working on this. This will be chapter 9 of the document. All these chapters we just talked about. Chapter 9 is strategic implementation. And what we'll do is we'll gather the goals and objectives that we developed in the chapters we talked about. We'll roll them into here and categorize them and give you a time horizon and also point of contact or who's responsible for to track that under action plan. It'll be broken into immediate, short-term projects, intermediate, and long-term. So, let's see what's next. So that's the end of the plan, the basic plan document. What's next is the capital improvement plan. Can you go motion? Yeah. Okay, we'll go ahead. We'll talk about CIP right after this. Special study, this from a lot of meeting up and gatherings and discussions. It seemed like the best investment for you guys was to look at the two nodes, downtown and your commercial node on 80, along with the river as the key components, and looking for strategic linkage and connectivity opportunities for something of interest to tourists, and where you grab them and bring them in. Some improved roadways that might might want to have a glorified entry into the city. A lot of towns are doing. What we'll do is break down each parcel of land in the mixed use district we talked about. Identify the current zoning or land use that it has right now. And from there, we can kind of start like a puzzle, picking areas that might be areas of opportunity or investment or, a major overhaul, like, we didn't have 17 silos in that. But silos have been, I gave you some examples of outland passes. I think on Cut Bend Park, some people have actually used silos and remade them into rental units for weekends and stuff. But like in Hutto, we just used them for decoration. We didn't go into them and change that. Too expensive. So out of this, we want to get design guidelines, like we're talking about for downtown, for any connectors out to 80, and then the corridor of 80, and come up with these alternatives that we talked about. I mean, we don't have to just say one. We can say alternative A is this kind of style, alternative B, this kind. We want it to look like we'll send samples and put them on the portal and see what y'all like. If we try to bring downtown to the interstate, to the highway, what that looks like, using these kind of styles at the sides. Or I'm a mid-ride kind of guy. I like that style, so I like it to be looking like Route 66 out there. There's some cool places still on, and there's, one of the gas stations kind of has that little, or some building out there that's kind of overlooked like that, I thought. But this ought to be fun. That's what we really want it to be, something that's fun and thinking and you know, it's not stopping anybody from doing anything. It's trying to empower them to do so. And I don't know if it's like a speech, but that's really what we're trying to do is you've got to get people down here. We know the property owner who owns most of this stuff and everything. The strategies to talk to him. That's what we want to give you guys is tool set down to the funner stuff. Yeah, so that's what we described it. Got the main entrance in, would you know, is it possible, is there enough easement to do hedgerows? Or some type of landscaping or big wide sidewalks or, you know, masonry and fencing along there, make it, you upgraded a scenic corridor, but not the major scenic corridor, it'd be the, you know, the entrance corridor into this area of town. Then if the opportunities along here to just some other kind of businesses can crop up if that's going on, and we can also get businesses to participate as well. It's beautification.
I have a question. So is the parks part of this whole comprehensive plan? Because at one point we had tried to get a TxDOT grant and we didn't get it, but it would have had from the post office walking trails clear out to the river, walking trails and everything.
That's our main business, so we've got Judy and the experts to help us figure out ways of funding these kind of initiatives we bring up like that. Try again. And with TxDOT, if they do have plans for 80, they've gotten really well about working with local entities and trying to help them reach what they desire along the corridors that they're creating and, you know, improve sidewalk and landscaping.
Would Langford do that, Mary?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get with them.
Yeah, they, and this was a couple of years ago. And so I was just wondering, like, we had talked earlier in the year about the parks comprehensive plan being inside this comprehensive plan. Is that still in the works?
We'll need to assess what we've got right now and if we need to make it as a kind of a standalone plan, we can do that.
Yeah, because the parks was trying to go for some grants. And if they had a comprehensive plan, they'd have a better positioning of getting the grant.
Yeah, we'll leave it to Arts and Wildlife standards for their grants, and that'll include some surveys, and so we may take a little longer on that than these other parts.
If we do it to their standard, then it can count as the quote unquote Parks Master Plan, because they require for you to get an actual grant to build a park or do any kind of park work. You have to have a Parks Master Plan, so.
Yeah, and that's what.
It will require having a survey, right? So we'll need to get it to Jerry and make sure that gets.
And I think Laura was working on that with the Parks Committee, Advisory Committee.
One thing you may look at too is the amount of FEMA buyout properties that are surrounding our parks and which of those has been acquired by the city of Martindale. I mean, we must have at least 35 FEMA buyout properties that are down Southeast Road, Tree Lane, Cemetery Road, all of these. And with these FEMA buyout properties, adjacent to our parkland, there is a severe restricted use of what you can do, which is like you can enhance, wetlands management or trail system and all that. So that is a strategic or another component of expanding our park system would be how do we intermingle the FEMA buyout properties with our parks?
Yeah,
Can you help us at the opportunities on that, or do you have them mapped?
Yes. And we also have a list of all of the city of Martindale's
If you
properties.
just have the parcels, we can map it.
yeah, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Who do I get?
We'll
We'll work on that.
create a category for the land use plan, put it on there.
Thanks.
Okay. Slide. So that's kind of the concept of what that street would look like if we actually planted those trees. I know there's already vegetation and trees, but you know, some spots it might be able to look like that. So it's not, we're not talking about a boulevard or anything, it's 25 across, so it's still a urban street. And then, I don't know, we ever had this thing, has this ever happened, is that worth? Martin River? What's under that? What's in English?
No, well, a little bit, yeah. Nancy Martin.
I pointed at her, I didn't mean to do that. Say the silos in the background, all integrated river activity.
Looks a lot like Sewell Park in San Marcos.
That'd be what you, okay. Yeah, we had an architectural intern last summer and that's what we did to get her, do renderings of downtowns. Y'all in Wimberley, we did kind of one water design standards. Pervious cover, kind of housing. That's what she came up with. Yeah, that would be kind of the highway corridor.
But for example, that diner with those windows would not be appropriate in our scenic corridor.
Yeah. No, I don't know why. And why it's. Oh, no, I agree. I wouldn't want to see this, okay. We save the best for last. Silo strategies. So other communities have tackled this issue. And it's a tough one. I know it and have lived it. But you can see the different, each of these did it different. This is actually a study that was done of y'all's 10 or 12 years ago by some students at Texas State. So the idea was that just make it latticed across and make it a covered outdoor seating area.
Where are you over there?
Looks great.
I don't know.
Well, I would say this, Carlton Carl once, put in they had a public hearing for, special use where he wanted to convert the silos into Airbnbs, and the neighbors were not
Please.
happy about it.
Yeah, my bad idea was.
Airbnbs right by them. Traffic noise.
No, my bad idea is that you make a, part of it is a micro enterprise center with a small business association, SBA loan. And it could be low moderate income business owners or business owners that are gonna hire low moderate income employees. So it's not that hard. We did it in Round Rock. We did a bar.
Did you own that property?
No, we leased it. That was with CDBG.
Downtown Butta's got a great example of that as well.
We're in,
Downtown Butta.
the beauty of it was that we're bringing young business owners into downtown Round Rock. And in those days, it was really, you know, I used to say, Round Rock, where Dell eats lunch, meaning that by 5 o'clock, they're all gone, so there's nobody downtown at the restaurants. So part of being part of the Micro Enterprise Center was, you know, we pay for them, join the Chamber of Commerce and be on a committee, an active committee. They get to know all the business owners and it kind of changed the tune. We got a really cool coffee shop that opened because she just lived down the street and always wanted to do that. And she said, you know, there's more of the clientele she'd expect now. So it kind of created a whole new level of demographic running around downtown Round Rock back then.
Just two questions on the next kind of step development, which goes through the implementation of it, and you know, we start to work through economics and you know, funding strategies and whatnot. Do you guys incorporate any studies in regards to how much actual density or residential growth there needs to be to support businesses in the area for them to actually be able to be sustainable, or it doesn't?
Yeah, we do in general, but we do have, there's services that do that we subscribe to, that we can probably, you know, do specific rather than just general community. That's what you're thinking, that we be able to.
Well, you know, I think that, as you were saying, like there are certain things that are kind of ideas that get put out there and you do certain estimates but then that's kind of the plan or the vision, right? But for it to actually happen, you need, you know, private investment to come in. And for private investment to come in, there needs to be kind of this circular economical effect where you get people living here that then are going to shop there, and then that attracts businesses that brings income for the city to invest on its wastewater system to bring, like, it's kind of that circular effect. And I don't know.
There's some modeling.
It's more like an economic analysis, right?
Yeah.
That can be done, but that would be a different special study, right? Like, they don't usually go that far, right?
But I think it's gonna take that for y'all to be able to, talk turkey with somebody. I mean, you know, really being able to make the promises that if they come and redevelop, that y'all can participate at the level you're talking about.
A question about supporting our businesses that are already here that are struggling. We've had several small businesses that have gone under. How do we address that problem right now, today? Not looking so far into the future, but what can we do to help them out right now?
But for the plan, what we can do is go back to that profile chapter where we've got economic indicators. And there's some strategies there, but we need to get more specific, like what can we target that help struggling businesses?
More specifics, meaning
What's causing them to go under?
individual business? Is that what you're saying?
Traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what's causing them? What's the reason that they're not being successful in that?
Right, and that is the
Right.
question.
Mm-hmm, and then you address that problem so that they can be.
Yeah, you would
successful.
have a lack of volume, is that mostly where it is, that was the city, right? Had lack of volume.
Well, we are addressing that tonight because we are talking at the city council meeting about our hotel motel tax and how to get the city pride text dot signs on the highway 80 and 142 to divert people off of the highway to come here, because 1 out of 100 people probably that drive by here don't know that this part of town exists. So we'll be working on that tonight and trying and develop a support group that'll help us get the signage out there, even if the sign said historic Martindale or a library or park, anything to make somebody turn and come down here, because we've had a lot of music events on the weekend. And in the past, there could be 50, 75 folks here, but recently it hasn't been that high. But thanks to Duets and what they have given to the city, it's helped us out tremendously. But as you mentioned, these smaller businesses are having trouble staying afloat. So we'll hope to get some signage
That's
up.
right, that feeds right into this study too. Yeah.
That text up signage would be, I can only say for my sister's restaurant, I can't tell you how many people have got in there and they say like, we didn't know this place was here. You know, and that's one of the problems that you can't put.
Nobody wants to go in the parking lot because they can't get out of the parking lot. I'm right here on the corner.
Yeah.
So you can get in, but you can't come out. Everybody wants to know, is there a way out the back? No, there's no way out the back.
Because the traffic is so bad.
You can't. We're right at the light, so, and then, of course, every day, yeah. There's just, everybody says the food's great, I love it, it's so good. But, you know, like I told my sister earlier today, last year I was doubling and tripling what I'm making this month, and I tell her, I don't wanna be here anymore, I just wanna run. But I've got 4 years left on the lease, so I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, you see cities that have signs for the businesses.
I can't put up signs either because.
No, it'd be a city sign.
Yeah, oh, yeah, the city sign, yeah.
Kind of like on the interstate, you'll see.
I wanna put up a big old neon sign right here.
Hey, maybe that's the style we want. Neon, angles.
There you go.
Exactly.
If they come here, then you're like, hey, where's the casino?
That's one of our clients too.
That would be in the venue in the back.
Yeah. Got slot machines behind the restaurant.
It's
The corridor, the Highway 80 is a scenic route, so.
Or you a cool biking route. Ride all that, hang out. You'll get that.
I'm not sure, well, the police department went out the last time I did, so I don't know.
There's ordinances that say it has to be a certain size, it has to be a certain color, has to be a certain height. So it has to meet the guidelines.
Is that the same route?
Yeah.
Yes. If you don't know, you can come to the city hall and talk to the mayor and she'll help. She'll tell you how the ordinance is and what guidelines are.
Yeah,
They're all
you know,
online.
Yeah, you can look
if you
online.
wanna stay with that, then we'll help reinforce it or, you know, consider altering it some ways. Stuff.
So what's our next step now in closing, for us?
Oh, we got the first 4 chapters posted, and that goes through housing. And then we'll do the future land use chapter and facilities and infrastructure chapters over the next month or so. Then we'll let you know that, okay, we've moved from preliminary planning to writing the final.
How much more time is left on this grant?
30 months total.
Well, you had a 1-year extension already.
Or 6 months, I think they extended to 6 months, so I think it's till the end of That's my memory, the Gorman here, my memory is the end of 26. So we got still just over a year, but part of that's gonna be, part of the requirements, any kind of zoning ordinances or whatever, have to get adopted for compliance with the grant requirements. And that can take some time. Yeah, so you gotta get to the point where.
That's why we're doing that regulatory assessment.
Right, we're doing regulatory assessment.
We can tell GLO that they have what's in place to support their land use plan and consider resiliency. Things like having the most recent building, international building code, the National Institute for Science and Technology puts out best practices for wind protection and things like that. So we're looking at all that kind of stuff compared to what you have. We look for whatever gaps you have or things you already have that are good. And we got a little grading.
Don't be surprised by that. You might have that are
good. Wrong. But yeah, so it's really understandable. And then from there, that's where we kind of decide what you guys want to do for policies and regulations and enhance what you got, like the scenic ordinance, or add some new ones and change, some of the big yellow area, I want to kind of identify as more.
I'm sorry, I got here late. Everybody's asking me who you are. Can you tell us one more thing who you are?
I'm Tim Jenkins, and we're from Langford Community Management Services.
Okay,
And we're doing a comprehensive plan for Martindale. And we also manage a lot of the grants that youth get.
very good, thank you.
Well, he's Dennis Cootie, he's our project engineers.
All right, thank you.
I think we're. There's your scan again. Oh, well, the next slide is about the hazard mitigation plan, and it's got a scan too, if you've got anybody interested in seeing that. It's set up in a portal like ours. We're trying to use this social pinpoint for both our hazard mitigation plans and then also these RCPs. And we're right in the middle of deploying all that, so.
So then at the next meeting, I don't know when that is, but I know you've told us a few times you only have 3 required public meetings. How often do you meet with the steering committee? The
On
same?
demand, we can do teams or come do a follow-up or.
Well, I'm just wondering
Yeah,
how
focus
that,
group.
like, you're talking about a lot of different things that will require us to adopt the different ideas that you're putting forward, but I think that would need a lot more discussion to be able to do that, so I don't know when that happens.
I think once we get the final plan to a review stage for you, I think what's starting to happen, I mean, we're right on the front edge of this program, so we're the only ones that have even gotten 3 plans to the milestone 3, so everyone else behind us, but so we're kind of, now we're going, okay, what do we do now with you? And a couple other communities want to have it like a big, like a planning charrette, where we come set up in the room next door, I mean, not the room, that have different stations that have a planner or dentist at each table talking about a specific issue. So you kind of go through and do a zoom down on what I showed you today. So land use, you actually look at what's the zoning underneath. Thank you.
Thanks for coming over. I appreciate your comments.
Please stay involved with us.
So that seems like that would be a good approach to allow people to kind of focus on one area. Because this was a good survey of all of it, but if we're gonna ever get to the point where we would feel comfortable, with changing ordinances or whatever, we would really need more time to think it through and talk to other people and see what the residents think about changing all of those things. So maybe that is something that we would need to do.
Yeah, and as we go, I think we'll discuss and start seeing that conversation.
Yeah.
Where we need to say, okay, how do we implement this?
Mm-hmm.
And it's total implementation. Like, what are we gonna do for transportation and
Right,
what
right.
type of grants or funding?
And I'm thinking too that our city planner and attorney team are reviewing our ordinances also, particularly around planning and zoning.
That's
and
where
permitting. Yeah.
we're partnered with them on two other contracts. We're
So
comfortable.
I was wondering when I need to have them be involved in this.
Yes.
Because I don't wanna, no offense, but I really don't wanna pay you both
Yeah.
to do the same work over and over again.
Yes.
So maybe there's a way to like team up on it.
Hallettsville, I've got, actually have contracts sitting on my desk. Where we're hiring Rampage to take the recommendations from the assessment
Uh-huh.
that another consultant is doing for us. They're gonna give us the recommendations. In the meantime, Rampage is gonna be looking at the land use that we did
Okay.
and familiarizing. And by the time we get that to them, they'll be ready to like create zoning districts, recommendations like that.
Yeah,
So Creedmoor will probably be the test case for that.
right.
So you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
We learn
Well,
from
we can
Creedmoor.
learn from whatever your lessons learned are with Greenwell.
Yep. Yes.
So I've got a question. It's one of the things I've heard quite often. Kilgore is one of them. So you go in and you spend these thousands and thousands of dollars to do a comprehensive plan. In your experience, I've always heard a lot of times, once the city gets to the first roadblock, it ends up sitting on the shelf. How do you prevent that, or how do we prevent that from happening?
So the portal stays alive if y'all choose to keep it that way, and our working party, I use that for managing zoning cases and subdivision reviews and that way it stays alive and you're getting the CAD information from the county. So, you got a pretty powerful
And it's
plan.
up to the city to keep it updated, or you guys, or both, or what?
Well, we don't have any services identified past point, but we can, and we're interested. I don't know, sorry,
We
got public works director, a planning director, and Jerry's a marketing extraordinary director, so Marlene with him. But, like this downtown thing, if y'all need to take it and create, have an action team that supports you. Could do something like that. I'd love that. Martindale's one of the ones that all our guys are. Let me do that, I wanna be able to do that, because, they see it. They're right out of college and they're just itching to do something like this where they're helping a town.
We're very desirable.
Keep the,
We're living the dream out here.
yeah. Well, one of them, he had visitors that were moving from Germany. And he brought them out here and they fell in love. They're ready to move here to the Austin area. All they knew was Austin area of Texas, when they got here, and he took them around and brought them here, and they wanted to buy one of these houses down.
Tell them, come on, water's fine.
That's that journal. And then, and we'll make sure we're putting anything we put out on the portal that would give you an email alert ask again, and we'll beef up the Parks and Rec plan. What's that? It's like if we were gonna go to the round table, not round tables, stations thing, that would make that its own station.
Sure, that would be great. That would be
Parks, Recs, Trail.
We'll get with you on what, we'll just recommend these tables, and you can tell us no, we
Okay.
And if you all need the space, the venue would be happy to host you all.
Well, thank you.
We have the Bluetooth projection screen and all stuff.
Awesome. Excellent. We just can't get out of the parking lot.
Yeah, you'll be trapped there forever.
Just like quickly, you can get out eventually.
The walk is beautiful.
It is.
It's got-
Get out of the-
It's got those wide, new sidewalks and the nice.
Bicycle, use the bicycle.
I just
Okay.
all stroll down there.
I hate to do this, but since we have council in 15 minutes, I need to wrap up. You can come back for a break. I am going to call the meeting to order at 6:34 PM. Attendance, anyone? Terry Werner here. Sam Lincoln.
Here.
Maury Dolittle.
Here.
How'd I do? Micah Platt
Here.
and Mayor Pro Tem Matthew. Oh my God. All right then, do y'all remember how to get your agenda up on your screen? It's in the mail.
I looked at that, but I don't see it.
Chief just told me that Deanna left the message with us that it was, 'cause we were in that other meeting.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Wrong. It should be in the, maybe it just is taking a minute to load. It should be, the email, like the very first email.
That's October 3rd.
That's not the very first email.
Just, you go up and down.
Ow.
It was the farthest from.
Now I need to make this.
No, you're not.
Okay. Double screen, right on the screen. Okay, I'll get, I think it's not, so we hate this. Okay. Okay, got it. It's back down here. I didn't call me, I'm like, I didn't have. Okay, then. Let's do it. And okay. Okay. Okay, Sesame. Okay. Okay, did you guys get it? Here, also,
October 16th.
Yes. All right, then, we did that, so let's do the pledge of allegiance. Oh, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of one faith under God, one man. Thank you. It looks to me like we have two public comments this evening. The first one is from Mary Beth Harper. We put the podium way down there this time so that you can make eye contact with whoever you choose. Or not, but before you had to have like your back towards some people and face other people, so.
So where do we stand? Oh, over here, sheep, okay.
We didn't get rid of it, we just moved it.
I go outside.
No, no,
You better talk.
no need, no need.
Okay, on Wednesday mornings, starting October 29th through December the 10th, from 9 to 11 a.m. In Crook Store, 413 Main Street, the library will have classes on chronic pain self-management. This is taught by the Area Agency on Aging. And this is for any kind of pain, yeah. Headaches, down to your toes, headaches, arthritis, pain, anything. All the library can register, and that way we'll make sure we have plenty of books for their class. This is partly funded by grant from St. David. On Monday, November the 3rd, the library will host the first ever State of the City address with the mayor. You must buy a ticket from the library. The ticket allows you entrance to the event, wine and snacks. Then after the address, after the mayor speaks, you can ask her questions, anything you want to ask her. You can also watch on Zoom, but there's no wine, snacks, or ability to ask questions. And if you want to come into the library, come into the park with the wine and snacks, that starts at 6. And also a person from Caldwell County Road Bond Project will be present for you to ask questions. So I'll should in roads. And she will be there. Anyway, this may or may not have got this in city bill.
Great. Thank you. Yeah. Sure has them now.
But here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Did everybody get one there?
I don't know how I'm happy.
Okay, then on
There you go.
Friday, the it's more.
Yeah, I think that's it.
On Friday, December the 5th is the 18th annual downtown tree lighting. Santa will ride through the neighborhoods on the fire truck. Then you'll be able to sit down with the children for the kids to tell them what they want for Christmas. And inside a cook store, there'll be vendors set up as well as refreshments available and also be adult beverages to purchase. Raffle tickets will be sold. It's a library fundraiser and they're working on raffle items. Stock with items, someone in need of food, something, they can have whatever they want over there. And Caldwell County Food Bank is to buy the items for us. But that's the library information, from all personal stuff. The River Advisory Board met yesterday. Councilmember Clinton brought an item to the, from the San Marcos City Council. And they passed a resolution to divert trucks carrying hazardous waste off of Interstate 35 onto Loop 110 right out here. And this is to protect endangered species in the river. Okay, my concern is that Loop 110 crosses Highway 80 very near the river. It's less than 100 yards there. And there's numerous specks there, at least once a week, and any hazardous materials can very easily be under the river property. Also, the Fort City San Marcos, not thinking they did not consider the increased truck traffic from the smart one already right there at that same intersection. Okay, and also this is from TxDOT. Highway 80 is being considered as a connector road between Interstate 35 and Caldwell 130s. Be aware.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to hand out?
Okay, so now, wait,
Got another.
let me make sure. Now, I believe. If I could ever find, it was there, it was there.
I have to make mine big and pink on my TV.
It's when I switch between screens, and I don't know what I have to listen to. Okay, so. Then, I think our next thing is for the presentation.
Public comment.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, you did. You absolutely did. I'm sorry. I'm too distracted.
Okay,
Please
I'm Catherine Place from 403 Northwest River Road. And I had put in my application for the Historic Commission. And it was tabled at the last meeting, and so I was kind of expecting it would be on this agenda. And so when I printed it out, I saw that it wasn't. But I wanted to speak to the council to let you know that I am highly interested on being on that.
I'm sorry, Catherine, that was one of the announcements we had to make, is that the council, the historic commission met on Tuesday, and the person that had indicated they were not interested because of health problems, actually came to the meeting, and Deanna had a discussion with her and told her that she had not formally resigned because she went through me, she didn't go through Deanna, and our ordinances say you have to go through Deanna. So since she didn't formally resign and she showed up at the first meeting, we're assuming she's just going to be a member. But if that doesn't turn out to be true, we'll put it back on the agenda and fill the position. So if you wanna go ahead and continue, I just wanted to explain first, but then if you wanna go ahead and continue, because if it doesn't work out, then we would put it back
Can I
on.
make a quick clarification?
Yes,
2.3 discussion action approve the nomination of Quentin Matthews to the Historic Commission after the resignation of a member. So
that's
that's gonna be tabled,
no, yeah,
so we're not gonna vote on Quentin.
we're not voting on anyone.
Good enough.
That was a sloppy edit from Deanna when she fixed this.
Thank you
It
for
was
that
a
clarification.
cut and paste. No, we're not voting on anyone because it doesn't have an opening.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, but go ahead and
Okay,
finish.
I'd like to keep my application on file for the reference. When I was on the commission before, under Mayor Doyle Mosier and under Randy Bunker, we had done 3 open houses collecting valuable historical information, and we were working on a 4th. Unfortunately, when I had to step down because of my husband's health reasons, the other members also all stepped down, so it looked like it was all deserted, and it was. So we would like to go back to that 4th historic gathering. Also, we had some people lined up tentatively to talk about historic items in the city, such as the cottonseed that is unique to Martindale. We had a University of Texas professor from Austin that was going to come and talk.
I'm sorry, what year was that?
2016, 2017, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
My husband had real bad cancer in 2016. So, I'd like to get back to that. So the first 3 historic gatherings, the first one was at what is now Randy Bunker's house. Lorraine Harrison had grown up in that house. Her father, Rob Harper, owned that house, and it's very unique. It has some very unique features, and the swimming pool is pretty awesome too. And then the second one was at Ann Horn's house. And as everybody knows, she's like one of the descendants of Nancy Martindale. And then the third one was Susan Smith's house, which is Mari's house now. And that also had very unique history. And so the 4th one that we were gonna do, we were calling a Heritage Day, which would be Hispanic and Black culture. And we had gathered quite a bit of history that I think needs to be written down. And none of this had ever gotten really solidified. And there's bits and pieces all over the city that different people have done. Carlton has done, Maury has done. And so it would be good for I think for the Historic Commission to go forward and get this all solidified in some kind of a book or document. And so that's why I would like to be on the Historic Commission. And I've been in Martindale since 1991, so I know a lot of people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine.
So we just, listen, we're not allowed to comment, right?
Right. Unless it's to put in a fact that would be directly related to it. or to, inform her of like a ordinance or rule or something.
You mentioned a book, given, you know, cloud and shared drives are all available and stuff like that. An equally effective way might be to get like a Google Drive or some type of a cloud drive that people could contribute to.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
they wouldn't have to physically give you the files and stuff. You wouldn't have to assemble it in a book, you'd have them all electronically, and then you could publish that.
Well, that was one of the things that we were doing.
Should we wait a second, cause I can't hear on Zoom?
I'm working on it. Okay, so I go to Zoom. Yeah. Here it is. It's very tiny in the corner. Okay.
Was there something wrong with the speaker maybe?
There shouldn't be. I just reset the speaker.
Yeah, the lights are on.
It's
Like an owl staring at me.
But last time it required. Let's see, last time it required, oh, look, it is moving, so there is noise there.
Okay, I'll see.
Ask and see if they can hear now. No chats. Oh, well, now we're not talking, so they won't know. Be fooled too.
Did they put it, can they put it in the chat?
No, nobody said anything. Can you see me? I mean, can you hear? Can you hear? Hello? On the owl. You know, you don't know. Oh,
It looks like they're. Well, she said she can't see either, so I don't know.
oh, it
Can't
might
or
be.
see, but they're gonna,
Tell her to log out and log back in.
that's what she said she was.
Oh, okay.
It's, Dorothy. With
Oh.
her.
Okay. All right, so anyways, to continue what, and so get a drive, a Google Drive, right? Maury,
Years?
you were saying?
Oh, no, we had that.
We were-
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we're done.
Okay, so, then in that event. Moving on, we've got. A presentation from the GLO, the RCP Comprehensive Plan, Grant Public Meeting number 2 from Langford Community Management Resilient Communities Program, grant update. And announcement of the preliminary draft review. Community input is welcome. Come right on down.
Lead off before me. Okay. Where we're at in, as far as grant administration, we're at milestone 3, which is preliminary plan, submittal, discussion of goals, and this public meeting was required. So this is one of the bigger chunks of money you'll get reimbursed, so it's a good thing. And what it does for you, we're moving into writing the final plan. And once we get that to the point where we can break it down and maybe do kind of a working groups review, something along that line, either half a day long or, you know, have them separate, or we can do focus groups, but get that. And use teams too, so. We probably have another year, a couple months in the contract, and we're well on time to do that. And that'll give us a lot of time to do the special study, so that's. And any other like parks, and we'll beat that up for it. You will get grants for parks and all. Any questions or?
Well, she's saying she still can't hear, but I don't know, did anybody else say they can't hear? Did they answer?
Nobody answered.
Nobody answered. Oh, yeah.
You don't have a connection.
I know, I don't know. I mean, and isn't that necessary for us to have it recorded? Or it's recorded without Zoom?
I don't know the answer to that. I mean, it says it's recording. And the microphone is showing that it is measuring the sound, so I don't know. I just don't know.
Attorney, is that a problem?
No, we just need to have some
Because-
kind of minute.
Because that's the minutes of our meeting to have it on Zoom. So how can we record, how can we function as a city if we don't have Zoom to record our minutes, to record it? Or
It is recording. Zoom is recording.
Are you sure?
Okay, so. Be written minutes,
Who's gonna
and
write?
anyone can write.
Okay, who's writing them right?
I'm reciting the law to you, and then y'all can make a determination as to how you want to proceed. Minutes can be a recording by itself, technology.
Can
Can I finish, please?
Go right ahead.
The minutes, shows as it's recording, there can be a recitation of the minutes. The minutes really need to reflect action. So long as someone writes down the action that's been taken and it's produced in minutes that can be adopted by the council, then that is what is required.
Who's writing? That's my question.
I'm not responsible for keeping.
So who's gonna write
Gotta
it?
do the law.
Okay, who's gonna write the minutes? That's the question I'm asking. If the Zoom,
Any single person here
Okay,
can write the
well,
minute,
so-
and it's required for action items.
So-
We're not on action, and so anyone should write down.
if Zoom's not working, it's not recording.
Mhm.
We just continue to go on, or do we have somebody write the minutes? That's my question.
So as I stated, anyone can write down what the action is, what the motion is, and what the action is, and put that into written minutes that are adopted at the next meeting. You'll typically have written minutes anyway. You have written minutes in the past, and so it just needs to reflect the action. It doesn't need to be a recitation of everything that has occurred. It doesn't need to cover every single thing. It simply needs to reflect the action taken, so that is reported appropriately.
So if we vote, we just have to say who voted.
Yeah, and what the motion was, yes, ma'am.
So for my clarification, if I'm understanding you right, if there's no action taken today on any agenda item, minutes don't need to be taken. Is that right?
Not necessarily, or we just have an agenda that says no action taken, and that doesn't, that can be reflected on an agenda, for minutes. So yes, they can just reflect no action taken.
But we are recording though.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yes.
It said it up at the top of the bar there.
Nobody can get on, well, I'm done. Nobody can get online, so we don't know if it's working. Can people out there hear the
You know
meeting?
what? I will log into the meeting.
Yeah, you might wanna do that.
While they're doing that,
Yeah.
question for you, and really on grants for the
Yes.
city here. And the one we're talking about, is it 100% funded? Is it cost sharing, 90/10 or what?
It's a full 300,000, no match.
Okay.
So it sounds like you wanna have a focus group is the next thing.
Yeah, I think now that we're moving into the special study, that we need to focus on that, and then
So is a
anything
focus
that you
group,
guys want or feel like.
so is a focus group like, a committee that the council designates, or is it just like a workshop?
Oh, it would just be you guys just deciding who wants to,
Okay, so more of like just the council getting together and doing like brainstorming?
Yeah.
Okay,
we're thinking. Me and my staff will come and we'll set up tables to talk about the different functions of the plan.
okay,
So you'll go to one table, we'll have a monitor there. I'll walk you through the thoroughfare plan and the road CIP that you got tonight.
okay, that makes sense.
And explain everything and then get your feedback.
Mhm.
And by then we'll be close to it. It'll, at least a good enough final that we've written what we think we've captured, you know, like tonight I'll go, well, the thing's clay, you're gonna tell us change it if you want to, so. But then we'll have something for you to actually respond to. Be ready to adopt it at the next official meeting like this.
In progress.
But we might also engage our grant.
And somebody just.
Grant. We're gonna have. For a funding session, maybe get our grant experts in there.
When is the end date on the grant?
Not positive, I think it's late 2006.
How many years?
26. Little over a year.
I got another question on that. Where are we right where we need to be? Are we a little behind? Are we a little ahead?
We, actually, we slowed down the process and,
Yeah, see, it's recording, because it says, do you want to?
that you get in place.
Working, all right.
It's recording, we're ready to go.
All right, so then, back to the agenda. Oops, Lordy have mercy. Technology, I know, it's always your friend until it hates you. All right, so the next one is, also the other reminder was, that we do have the first annual ofrenda, it's out front. And if you want to place any special items for people who have passed over, then please feel free. Someone has put some photos, we have a ring, some flowers. So any kind of personal item that reminds you of that person. And of course, at the end, you can come and pick it up. And by the way, the library does now have security cameras that show all of our doors and the back of the building as well. So if anyone messes with it and takes your things, we'll know who did it. I'll track them down. Well, the chief will, I'm not gonna do that. No. For the next flood planning and mitigation meeting, we had to postpone it. It was supposed to be during October. Things have just been so much with the budget that, now that that's finally done, we'll get our second follow-up meeting done for our, emergency planning meeting. We do have two different teams. One is, a community-based flood emergency, like at the moment, planning team, and they will work closely with the fire department and the library and Chief Tommy to be on hand during the event of an emergency, or if we're doing siren testing, they may be assigned to go out to a neighborhood and listen up and see if they can hear them appropriately. The other team is going to be doing more mitigation related things, going around the community, checking to make sure that, like, for example, the, what are those called? The, ditch, the drainage, the stormwater drainage. What are those called?
Culverts.
Culverts are not overgrown or have big sticks or leaves or things in them. Monitoring the erosion at each of our, entry points, the public entry points into the river, because those, as we know, are also big contributors, to more severe flooding. So they would then inform the city, and the city will pursue like FEMA funding or whatever we need to do to work on the erosion issues, or to, I don't know, plan a river cleanup day or whatever needs to be done in terms of planning ahead for those events and trying to keep them down to a dull roar. We would love anyone that wants to volunteer for any of those committees. And then last, the CDBG MIT grant contract. Last meeting, as you remember, we voted to terminate that grant. And as a result of that, property owners will be getting a termination notice, just letting them know that if they were supposedly, in talks with the city about an easement for their property. It'll just let them know that the grant has been terminated, that we will not be taking any further action to acquire their easements, and that everything goes kind of back to how it was. We just, as an overall update, we did we had a follow-up meeting with GLO this week. And they actually came here with Langford, and we went through a bunch of the paperwork, and we're trying to look at timelines for, okay, so then how does that impact the Caldwell Bond project and the MOD project, the other Northwest River Road grant? They have taken our termination letter. It has to go up through the ranks of GLO now and over to HUD. And then HUD is the one that makes the determination about what, if anything, we need to pay back. This coming week, I think she said Alyssa will be meeting with Dwayne. They need to give a full accounting of every single penny from that grant came into the city, and every single penny that the city sent out. It all goes into a giant log that gets considered as they're deciding if or what we would have to pay back. And then they will let us know. Meanwhile, the only other update I have on that is that they are continuing, I don't even know if you're aware that they do this, but they do like an audit of our records as a city to make sure that we have every file that GLO does this. To make sure that we have every file related to the grant that would be required if we were ever audited by HUD, by GLO, by some third party, whoever. So they continue doing that, and they said their last check will be at our next quarterly meeting, so that regardless of terminating early, they'll know that we have absolutely everything. We're totally protected should we ever be audited. So those are the only updates I have on that right now.
Why would we be audited? What would be the purpose? Like, who would do the auditing?
Any number of people could do an audit, but most often it would be HUD or GLO, just to make sure that we're being accountable for the money that they gave us, and that we have all of our receipts to show that we really did spend it on this. Nobody put anything in their pockets, and all of that kind of stuff. So so and it is apparently, according to them, it's no more likely or less likely to be audited if you terminated early than if we'd gone straight through. They still do those document checks every quarterly visit. So it's the same procedures they always have. And then we talked about, I guess I could say this here, even though it's not directly about D288, but it is about the mod property. We went through timelines and things because we just want to make sure that everything is on schedule for that one and that the money is right and all of that. They said now that we won't have to take $650,000 out of that grant to finish the grant we just terminated, we are actually very well on target for time and for funding. So we have plenty of money to complete that grant on time and on budget. The one thing that is being worked out right now between our engineers and Caldwell County is which portion of that goes for, like, does our mod grant go first or does Caldwell County go first? Because we're butting up against each other. They think Caldwell County will go first because of something, just normal, like, oh, it's gonna take longer to go to bid or whatever for us than them, because we have to do easements, I think is why. So, we only need 3 easements, and they are, I think 2 out of the 3 are owned by LLCs, which are not likely, they're small easements, they are not likely to get pushed back. And so while we're doing that, they'll go ahead and start on, I guess it's like Quail Run down to 80. And they'll get all of that done, and then they'll come back and do our part from the mod. So we just wanna fine tune all of that. They're gonna come to our next council meeting, not Langford, no, Turk and Freeland are coming to our next council meeting remember how we had to do three, alternative, yeah. They're gonna do those three options at our next meeting. And they said they were going to try to really diversify the options better than they did on the other Northwest River Road grant. So that we have like true choices, blah, blah, blah. So, they said they will be back the first week of November to present that to council, and we'll have to take a look at the options and vote on like whatever. So that is where we are with all of that.
And,
Questions, comments?
are we still gonna retain the easement that we, cleared and purchased, that one easement, adjacent to Plains Drive,
No, because we did not actually purchase it. It turned out that it turned out in the end that we had gotten the money and we had done all of the like permission slips and things except one, and that was the one that actually gives us legal right to that land. We never did that. So, then we had to ask them to give the money back, the Harrisons, and then we sent that money back to the GLO. So now we never did, like, we never formally purchased it because we didn't sign a legal document saying we are purchasing your land for this much money. So basically, we kind of sent them $160,000 check for nothing. Like, just here, have some money. It's like a tax rebate, only not. And, yeah, and so they were very, very good. They contacted us and said, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. And we handled it.
okay.
So we did not end up purchasing that. And they said, GLO said in their estimation, that was actually a really good thing for us because that was like one of the major, one of the major bills that we paid out of that grant money, like at one time. And the fact that that's already been returned, because they would not have allowed us to, it was more than GLO would have paid. So the city had to chip in money to that to make $160,000. So when we return the whole thing, that means the city did not have to pay any of that because they would not have reimbursed us for that. They would have only reimbursed us for whatever GLO would have paid to begin with.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions, checkpoints, concerns, thoughts? All of that? All right. Then we will move on to update school of C. And I have to apologize. I didn't see until it was already posted that y'all also did not. That's another editing error. I found out when I got home and it was already posted, and then you're not supposed to change the agenda. So please just delete 2.2A because obviously we voted last time to suspend that project, so we don't need an update from y'all. But Maury, do you have an update?
I wanna update.
Go ahead.
I wanna update something about the last thing I want to say.
Go ahead.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to read that email from Brad. And I wanna read one thing in there. It said, as I said, 0.5, as discussed with Brad, when X starts the wrong way, sorry about that. Okay, number 5, Brad did state the city of Martin could go forward with putting our bid packages out to contractors. He said, I did not say this, so I probably just said it was okay, but here's the stickler. And I have no control over the city's process. So I determined that means we could have gone out for bid. I looked at that, we have no control of city process, and I want this on record.
It is now.
But it's on record that we had the right to put it out for bid.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to read this email, okay? I would have sent it to me, but it wouldn't have made a difference because you folks made a decision. I'm done with it, That's all I gotta say.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So then moving on, Maury, do you have any updates on the roads? That's right. And Matthew, plow permit? Oh, wait a minute, Matthew, can you talk? I have to probably unmute you. Oh, he's not back on. He was only on temporarily. Okay, then we're gonna assume no. Sam Houston Clinton Environmental Ordinance. You and I have not met because I've been so crazy busy, so, I apologize. I will take the fall for that one. Let's set a time for next week so that we can get it done and bring them a draft for the next meeting.
And if anybody would like to write any responses, anybody on the council of the papers that I gave you to make any corrections or changes or anything that you wish to add to that or ordinance, please do so within a week or so and just put those papers in my mailbox here and we'll review those. So I would like to get more of an input across the whole council. Because this is really one of the first times that we've all been asked to engage in the writing of an ordinance. Usually in the past, someone wrote the ordinance and then we would just say, okay, this looks good. But this is an environmental ordinance from the Heritage Tree Ordinance that is now morphed and expanded into mitigation with environmental flooding or concerns about the river. So I would like to see more of a broad input from others and we'll.
Yeah, and if you don't have any others, maybe you could talk to some of the constituents and see if they have any preferences or opinions.
Yeah, and I read the stuff that you wrote, Sam, and I agree with most of it. If you want me to write comments that I agree with it, I can do that.
Yeah, good, thank you. That would work perfect.
Okay.
All right, new business, discussion and action, appoint assigned committee on hot usage tax. That's because last week we decided to assign a subcommittee and we voted on that. And they were gonna prepare a recommendation for council about wayfinding signs. And then we never actually said who's gonna be on it. So, when we were talking about it this week, we were like, wait a minute, nobody's on it. So very crafty of y'all, very crafty. Sam has said that he wants to be on it. I know Matthew had sent out some quotes for signs, but then, Mary Beth had pointed out that it doesn't conform to the, scenic corridor ordinance, so, I'm kind of leaving that open. If Matthew contacts me that he wants to be part of that, that's great. We would love to have him. Or if he just wanted to pass on the information to us, then that's fine too. So do any of you have any preference about being on that committee? Yes? Library. Would like to do that. And anybody else? Anyone? Joe, you wanna be on the sign committee? What? No? What?
Not yet.
All right, fine.
Not today.
Not today, no, sir. All right then, approve or deny the request I'm sorry, let me ask council one more thing. Is it fine to have other people, since council members didn't volunteer, is it fine to have other people on it, or is it just me and Sam?
Well, I don't know. I thought Matthew did want to be involved in that, but I guess we can't.
Ask him right now,
Yeah.
but he can email me or call me or come down.
Cause he had a bunch of different,
He sent them by email.
okay,
But then I don't know if he just wanted to send them, cause then after we voted on this, I didn't hear from him about oh yeah, I wanted to do that too. I just don't know, and it's fine either way. I mean, he's welcome to do it.
Do any other community members want to be?
Yeah, that's what I was making sure. Is that fine with council? If somebody from the community wants to be part of that, maybe a business owner or whatever?
I'm fine with that. How do we find out who wants to be involved in that? What's the process that we go through to figure out who wants to be involved in that?
I talked to Ryan with Duet's Cafe 2 days ago and of course, Zach's wife is pregnant, Ryan's wife is pregnant, so it's sort of their
There's something
busy
in the
now.
water?
Huh?
There's something in the water?
Yeah, only the restaurant, the commercial part.
Katie did say that she would be willing to help out maybe on the computer as a participant, but
I thought Ryan volunteered Katie to be on the computer.
yeah, he sort of did.
He's the one having the baby. I'll wait till she contacts us and says she wants to be on the computer.
Airbnb, one of the B&Bs.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a very good idea. Foreshadowing things ahead, we did get a citizen complaint this week about the Airbnb ordinance. Because we apparently faux pas and did not align it with our zoning. So there are people
So
that,
Mayor, we, not on the agenda, one, but two, I have updates for you
Okay.
on that,
Okay.
so.
never mind. Lock, throw away the key. Okay, so then, we will, get a hold of a business owner, an Airbnb or somebody like that and get those signs done, and we will bring the recommendations back to y'all for your action. Then next is the, request for $1,500 for owner Universe for out of the hotel motel occupancy tax to assist and offset advertising foods, flight costs, et cetera, for November 7th to the 9th, 14th to the 16th, and 21st to the 23rd.
We did that last year, right?
We did do that last year, and I don't know if you remember, but Deanna did call her and double check, just to make sure. And I'm trying to get to her form back here. She had the greatest documentation, financial documentation last year. And then on top of that, she also, did have a metric for how many heads in beds, as they seem to say with regard to this. She did have some sort of a measure about the Airbnbs, there is, and how many of them, were rented during the weekend of her thing. I don't know whether it was from, I know they did a survey of people that came to the weekend. I don't know where she got her data from. It's not included in this handout, but,
Did she talk to us last time?
she did. Yes, she did come to us last time.
Is it the same amount of money that we gave last time, or do you know?
It is the same.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and all of her receipts and everything were in like the very next meeting after her last weekend.
Yeah, I remember that.
She was very on top of it, but that's all I got to say about that.
Well, I'm fine with that. I mean, I don't know what you guys think.
I have heard that the dates in which she had her last event, that all of the participating Airbnbs were being occupied. And this being something that is over a 3-weekend process, it's 3 separate weekends.
Yeah.
That really $1,500 out of our motel tax seems like a very minimal amount to give to help her through this process of advertising and the other needs. So I would like to make a motion to give $1,500 out of the hotel motel hot tax to help OYOU with their events during 3 weekends in November.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I wish she was here to talk to us about it, just kind of remind me of all the stuff that they are gonna do but if I remember last year, they there was 2 things that kind of overlapped. So
It was
I
the
think-
river appreciation.
Yeah, so I think
Spread them
she,
apart this time.
yeah, she tried to accommodate that this time, so, I mean, I think it's a good idea, it did bring a lot of people, I wish she could tell us how many people came last time, but.
We have, I don't have that with me, but I know we have that information. If Deanna was here, she'd go, it would be up because she's a millennial.
Yeah,
But I know that we have that, she told us all of that and how many people stayed in bed.
I remember, seeing a report. It was
Yeah,
basically like a receipt or a, invoice of
Yeah.
exactly what she spent.
yeah. The only comment I would have about it is that she is a very good contributor to the community in terms of like doing a lot for the city. And then the only other thing that I guess I would say is that we do have like 0 expenditures from that account for this year.
Right.
So we have like 40,000 until we buy signs. It seems like it's a good use of the money, because it's not like we're running low on that account.
No, I agree.
So I have a question real quick.
Go ahead.
When the city gives money like that, are there any reporting requirements required by the
Yes.
city
Yes,
from the recipient?
yes.
Okay.
We have all kind of documentation. She turns in every receipt, she turns in her ledgers, she turns in her bank account numbers. She turns in how many people attended and where they stayed and like she is so organized, it's incredible. But what we have not done, we do have an ordinance for our requirements to approve people. What we have struggled to do is to come up with a universal, like, application that everyone fills out. Last year, we tried one and she did it and, the River Appreciation Group did it. It was so cumbersome that this year the River Appreciation Group did not ask for any money. They just said, forget it, we'll get our own. It was 26 pages and, all fill in the blank. And it took forever for them to answer every single question. I don't know I can't tell you where that application came from, but as I recall, someone found it on the internet and it was tied to something about the hotel motel tax. What we need to do, I think, is to actually sit down with our ordinance and come up with a universal, like, one application that is not overwhelming, but that outlines exactly what they need to do to be considered worthy of the hotel motel tax, legally speaking, and what they're gonna bring to the city. And then what we're requiring in terms of documentation. It just needs to be.
I don't remember that ordinance specifically saying like, this is what you have to show us records wise of what you spent. Does it have that in it?
I will look and see.
Cause I thought that's what Greg was asking.
Hold on.
But I don't remember. It could be in there. I don't remember seeing that, but it could be.
It could be, it could not be. Did Deanna just send that to you? No, we
I don't know that she just sent it she sent it to all of us, so there is a link in one of my emails. And the ordinance does lay out the required, as Mayor stated, what is required to be submitted for, consideration. And then there is a reporting and payment requirement.
Okay.
Here, thank
And
you.
a requirement for access to records, so if they turn over the documents, then the city doesn't need to request to access those documents, so
Okay.
it's easier.
Awesome.
Is the reason that this thing is so lengthy is to prevent people?
No, it's because the Texas legislature, when they came up with it, they made really strict rules about what it can be used for and not used for. And one of the things that it has to prove is that you're actually, since it's money that is taken, like, charged to overnight guests, it has to go back and be spent on behalf of the owners of the Airbnbs whose guests or hotels or whatever. In our town, it's only Airbnbs, but in towns where there's, hotels too, it counts for that too. You have to use that money to benefit them again, get them more customers. So, it's just designated that way.
Yeah, I think Terry Hendricks went above and beyond there.
I think she did. But maybe we could use hers as a example.
A guideline,
When we
yes.
sit down to make a simple form of application.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, so anyways, call the vote. What do we think?
We made a motion in a second, so.
Yeah.
No more discussion, I guess.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I'm gonna stay just because I'm over the major areas.
Find that at the end of this night, I should love it if you would just take a few moments and chat with our city attorney, who can go over with you the rules for, like, what the law says about when you need to abstain or not abstain, but she can't tell you whether, like, you should abstain from this vote. But she can explain it to you so that you're clear on when it's necessary or not necessary.
Doesn't there have to be like an affidavit or something?
If you're gonna abstain from everything to do with it,
Okay.
yeah, but like, I think his opinions will probably be like on this topic and not that topic.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. But anyways, if you wouldn't mind doing that, I think it would help you feel more comfortable. And then next,
I wrote all that down, so you have it,
thank you.
since it was an action item, like.
Why, thank you, sir. Bum, bum. Bum. Okay, then. And next is, oh, the consent agenda. This is the best part. Y'all are gonna be so freaking happy. The only person that turned in their consent agenda was the wastewater treatment. So, we basically can pull that one out and, if you have no questions about it, we can vote to just approve it. The other two are not, I don't think right here, did Chief do it at the last second and he walked away, so I can't ask him.
I thought I saw it.
Oh, good, then
Yeah.
maybe it is.
Yeah, it's on here.
Okay, good. Phew! Well, I'm not sure where he went, he's been sitting there in his little position where he lurks in the shadows.
Yeah, you got it all.
Y'all, this one, this wastewater treatment and Dwayne's, I swear to you. From, what did they say? From my lips to God's ears, we're gonna get something that's easy to look at, like the Chiefs.
Yeah,
I just
that
want
would be
pie charts.
nice.
I just want pie charts, that's all I need. I don't need every single accounting of every pH level from every day.
Yeah,
All I want is just a pie chart. I'm good with that.
that helps.
There it is. There it is. Chief!
Piece of that pie.
Joe, would you mind doing me a huge favor? Would you go knock on the chief's door? Are you afraid?
They want him in here?
He's in, I think he's in a police station.
The police station, that correct me.
Yeah, it's a pretty small
Police
station.
door. He's in the police door right
The
now.
police closet.
Police closet. Next one. No, that one. Is he there? Do you wanna tell us about your numbers?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
No, I can.
My question, are we safe, Chief?
We are.
Okay.
You could.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Did we have a motorcycle fatality?
No.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, now tell us. Troll activities.
So can you roll it up? So
Yeah.
I can see the
I think
numbers? I didn't print it off.
Here, it's on here. We're looking at it.
There.
That's good. So, this year, but, this month, actually, that's for September. Actually, we had 3 animal calls, 4 city ordinance contacts, 1 municipal court bailiff, where we come in and act together all
Do
day.
I need to be sharing my screen? Now that we're at the end?
See.
Sorry, you put it
Oh,
off.
yes,
didn't
I
know
do.
you were calling me up to do this.
Share
We're not putting
screen.
you on the spot.
Yeah, I know.
We want this one.
We had 6 residents' business checks, which I like, that people asked us to check their businesses or their house when they're gone on vacation and so forth. We'll have some more this month, just more people ask us. 37 calls for service, 2 incident reports. 3 crash reports, not a fatality, thank goodness.
You.
1 offense report. We had 13 traffic hazard or traffic control reports, 46 park checks, 43 motorist assist or public contacts, and 11 assist county or EMS.
Have my animals ever called you?
No, ma'am. On citations and warnings, we were down a little bit. I think we only had, 35 citations. And warnings that we wrote last month, or in September.
Mornings at what?
That's what
In
we-
September.
In September.
Mornings we rode. I thought you said mornings we were broke.
No, that was every morning. That was every morning.
No. That's what we did for September.
All right.
Chief, real quick question, how's your Mark Mobile, are they hauling people off, not paying, or?
You know, she hadn't called me on anything going over there. I don't have access to Park Mobile. I don't follow up on that. We check when we're there. Or, the record service will contact me if they have any issues when they are following through doing their
Have
portion.
you seen the record driver?
I've seen them a lot. They come by and they drive through and check on stuff.
Any more vandalism of our signs, like scratching them, jacking them out of the ground, or vandalizing our signs?
No.
No, sir.
That's good. That's good. That's a pleasant surprise. It'll happen again.
Well, hope
We
not.
just have to replace them again.
We still got a plan on moving forward and putting, now that there's a name for this park, that we could put up like an entryway with the name and a banner up top. So you have the QR code and everything up top. So there's, as people go through, they can do it right there. If we put it at the front, where the signs are now down towards the bottom, I know there's one at the front, but they usually wait till they get down to the bottom and use the QR codes down there. When it's in that bottom, there's no cell signal down there. So that's what happens. So if we leave it up at the top, then you know they're gonna have cell signal right there where they hit that QR code at the top.
Is there, I know we talked about this many times, is there any way to put a gate up there to keep at nighttime, to keep the, people coming at night and doing bad
So-
things?
So we can put a gate there, but it would entail some more work and a lot more, infrastructure. Because we would have to put a pipe fence probably down both sides, along the front and along that one side all the way to the river. Because if we just put a gate there at the entryway, people's gonna drive right around it.
What about the limestone blocks?
We can put those, I don't know what's cheaper, the limestone.
It's cheaper,
blocks
plus, you know,
or a pipe fence.
if we have a flood, you know, like that kiosk we're suggesting, that would be a disaster, it'd be a waste of money, but if we had those limestone blocks, they wouldn't get washed away. And, I think that would be a something good with our Park Mobile to, of course, it's gotta be approved by the council, but if we have that up, we could keep the people out at night, which were all the mischievous things happen.
Right, yeah, it doesn't matter to me, but whatever we decide to do, we'll have to just go all the way to the river with something and all the way down the front, road along, 1979.
What about like what Ali did in his parking lot where he put like poles and then a chain? I mean,
Well, the problem is, you're in a floodway, and
it'll just float down the river.
That thing goes 25, 30 feet under the water. The only thing I've seen that will hold up is those limestone blocks.
Okay.
It's easy.
Yeah.
But it's kind of static anyway, you know?
Better than the chain.
Yeah.
Well, the people could still step over them, but they couldn't drive through there
That's
with
most important.
equipment to pull up stuff.
Oh, yeah, jack them out.
Anyway, and hopefully if we do decide to do like a pipe gate or whatever, we just have to work on, organizing some committee members or whatever to go and open the park.
Yeah, open it and close it every night, yeah. Okay, well, wait, hold on. Anyone have anything else about that? I had a different question.
Yeah, can you give us the bid again that you got for the entrance? I think you got it.
It
for
was
some-
less than $1,500 for just the pipe part, the pipes and the entrance. That was without adding a name or anything like that, so we'd have to probably get someone to do some other work. I got that bid prior to, getting the, y'all name in the park last meeting.
So you mentioned a pole fence. How would you feel about, telephone poles that are cut and then, well, of course, it's easier to sink a pole in concrete than it is a telephone pole, you know, because then the hole would be bigger, but how close together do you want the poles on the pole fence? So the car can drive through.
Oh, we did a pipe fence along the, either side?
Yeah, like 6 feet apart or 8 feet.
Probably just like we have at, Allen Bates.
Mhm.
We have a pipe fence there along that way, you know, with it's got, one part's got cable. I wouldn't recommend the cable again because I saw a child get hurt there one time.
Those are the hang up.
Just by stepping on it and it flipped up underneath her feet and
Oh.
slammed her down.
Yeah,
And,
injured severely
yeah.
because of tripping on.
Oh, no.
She got really hurt, really bad.
Mm.
And so, I just don't recommend that. But the pipe fence, if you did the telephone poles, you still gotta get someone, you gotta go down.
We wanna,
There's gonna be a lot of work to go with that.
we wanna pile drive them in the ground, less surface area than the telephone pole.
That's
Pipe driven in the ground, it's rock solid, and we need make a plan, that we put that banner up, we need to have it wide enough to put a pipe fence or pipe gate.
Yes, the pipe.
They could be going across for 2 lanes of traffic and do all of it once. So plan ahead to put the gap in there and then have the limestone blocks space, I think would be the better way.
Right.
But I'm just.
And it might be cheaper, but.
Oh, well, the thing is, it's the flood.
Right.
Well,
That thing gets hammered down there.
And I know all the road work and y'all been discussing road work and everything coming in, so I guess we can hold off on putting the pipe gates in, because they'll have to pull those right back up. Remember, we were talking about for the floodways,
Yeah.
or for the over Skull and everything, and Mason. We could probably still do Johnson Street, now, if we chose, but, you know, I don't know if the guy wants to come do one and wait for however long to come do the other ones, but we still need to get those up at some point in time.
You know what, I don't think I've ever heard if there, I don't know, do one of y'all know that maybe was involved in more of the discussion last year? Is either the MOD grant or the Caldwell County grant gonna do, or whatever that is, bond? Either one of those doing, the Y part of Skulls? Or is it just straight across and not touching that part?
I don't think it is touching any of that part. That's why you submitted the suggestion about those main gates.
Yes, I submitted the suggestion about the gates and then making it, changing up the traffic flow pattern.
Which we've already done before.
Well, yeah, we've already
got that.
We just gotta wait till they do the,
Overlay.
the road work and overlay, and then come in and get them to market and say, hey, this is the new traffic flow pattern.
I am gonna be calling Ewing Landscape Supply in New Braunfels about fall protection fiber for the Allen Bates Park. And so I'll call them about the limestone blocks. And when they originally gave us, or we bought those 4, they were about $250 a piece per block.
Yeah, we just gonna take a lot to do, the park that goes down by your property and everything. It'll take a lot to go down to 1979 all the way to the river.
That goes maybe 20 blocks, yeah.
20 blocks, and then probably the same going back down, going back towards the river along as you pull in on the right-hand side.
Maybe we can do a little of each, get a few blocks and then.
Yeah, to
do
make
the
it
rest in
decorative at the
poles.
front. Yeah, I agree with you. To make it decorative at the front and then maybe do a pipe fence further down.
I think that would be good.
Maybe we'll talk to the Parks Committee about it and see if they have a suggestion so they don't feel left out about it.
Yeah, I think it should come from them, not from me. I think I'll just report to y'all if we have some riffraff.
Well, let's don't reinvent the wheel.
Correct.
Let's get what other cities have done in the floodway. You know, we don't wanna do something stupid and do something that's gonna get washed away, okay? So we need, like San Marcos would be a great example, because they use those limestone blocks for erosion control in their park. So I think the park committee could research, other cities like New Braunfels, San Marcos, and let's don't reinvent the wheel, let's do it, let's copycat. Cause they're in floodways like we are. Floodways are serious stuff, and it's gonna get washed away, anything that's not substantial.
Yeah, one last thing. If we put a pole fence parallel to the river from where the gate would be going parallel along that roadway, then it wouldn't be as much of a creation of building up debris as if we ran the pole fence along 1979 parallel to the road, because that's the way
You're gonna hang
it
debris.
goes down.
You're gonna hang
Probably both
debris.
of them. It just depends on, I agree, it's gonna hang up debris, but most of your debris in a flood is up higher and it's gonna come down when it's lower. But that, either way, if it's coming down, we're gonna run one, you're gonna have to run it sort of at like a diamond shape. Because that one goes back this way and you're gonna get the water coming at it straight on. And as it curves around to 1979, you're gonna get that other bottom side too. So it's gonna be hitting it both ways. So if you do a pipe fence, it's gonna be hitting it both ways. If you do the limestone blocks, it's gonna be.
How about this? We don't need to put a fence, just put something 2 or 3 feet above the ground, spaced out that a car can't go through.
Well, that's what.
Not a fence that connected to, so every 4 or 5 feet, drive them in, 4 feet off the ground, that's all you need to stop the car from coming in. that might be the way to go.
Well, kind of like what they have when you park at the convenience store,
Exactly.
they have the pole.
Exactly.
So that you
So
can,
you don't, all you wanna do is prevent that car from going in there, so maybe we're overbidding the wheel, that could be a lot cheaper way to go. Plus, if it's low, you know, if it's 2 feet off the ground, a car can't go through there, and space them out, what, 3, 4 feet?
Yes, sir.
And just space them out, and I think being low profile and not making a fence, it would go over that.
I had one
Save
last,
some money.
I had one last question concerning the entrance to the park. A few days ago, a huge feral hog got hit.
oh, yeah.
That feral hog must have weighed over 400 pounds. Now, in the past, we have always said that if something gets hit by a car, the vultures will come and eat it, so that's fine. But with that feral hog, as it bloated and all that, I think we should have contacted
I
TxDOT.
did contact TxDOT and asked them to come get it. They're hesitant to come get those big hogs like that, and they just say drag them to the thing. I didn't have a strap to drag it. And I just drag
So next time, we should just drag it off.
it either into the bar ditch or,
Don't throw it in the river.
no, we can
Some
drag
people
it.
do.
We could have dragged that one. I will do it when people aren't around, of course. I know I'm saying that in front of everybody. I can hook a strap onto it and drag it over in the
It's
back,
dead.
on the
I mean,
backside
come
of your
on.
property, on that backside.
Don't get him
No.
started.
Don't put it in.
Don't get him started, he'll tell you about the horse.
They had deep go ravine over there.
No, I appreciate you making the phone call to TxDOT because I saw it and it concerned me and it was huge and that has not happened in a while, so.
In there and dead?
He sent me a photo.
Hey, it's time for a roadkill barbecue.
It was a big hog.
But how did it get killed?
Probably hit by hand.
Oh,
I'll go
in
on.
the park?
No, it's roadkill right by the entrance to the park.
Oh, okay, I thought that you was talking about it was in the park. I'm like,
No,
how did it
well,
get in
it-
the park and then
It
that was.
Hey,
It probably
like-
crawled in before it.
It didn't look that great come driving into our parks, you know, but now it's much.
Wait,
I paid $10 for this.
Wait for the smell.
It's flattening out now.
It's, thank you.
It's not
God,
exploded.
you-
I can never finish.
Sorry.
I got a complaint from someone today, but it was by voicemail and she did not leave her name on any part of the message, so I don't know where this is. I'm asking you, if
Okay.
you know. I would love to get back to her, I just don't know how. He is very upset about a big tent. I don't know if it could be Angela's big tent,
No,
that it has big speakers
yeah,
and,
revival, it's Christian revival.
okay, are they in the city
Down Arlene
limits?
Lane, I think.
Isn't that what, one of
There's-
the salmons?
There's a sign,
Something?
there's a sign on it that says Route 10
Yeah.
Revival. You-
Yeah.
You drive down, it's, I think.
Right down
it's
there.
Arlene, but it's that,
It's the same.
The lady is saying it's very invasive noise, and she
And they don't
wants
like-
to know, do they have a permit? Do they need to have a permit? I was like,
So here's what, she thought she was talking to, I know who. She thought she was
so
talking
you
to
know who it is,
Yeah, she thought she was talking to you. She texted me
okay,
on my personal phone. I'm not gonna share that, but okay.
okay.
I replied back to her and said, they don't have to have a permit because it's on private property where it's at.
Mhm.
But they still have to abide by the noise ordinance. I checked to see if they came in and got a permit, so that our noise ordinance for the city here
Mhm.
is any noise that you feel that is disruptive,
Nuisance?
you can call, yeah, nuisance. If you feel that it's too loud and it goes too late, I thought they were stopping at like 9:30-ish. They may have gone a little later. I was seeing it like 9:30-ish. But if it goes later, and it's too loud, they can definitely call us and we can go address those noise complaints.
Okay,
Does the noise ordinance have a time, like this time?
Only in the parks, but the rest of the city was not. And,
85?
well, that's state law. 85 is state law. In our ordinance is basically just anything that's a nuisance. So if you feel that it's bothering you at any point in time, it could be in the middle of the day, you can call in a complaint. We can ask them to shut it down or turn it down to a decent level. And if they don't, then we can either cite them or have you come in, you can come in and sign a complaint with the municipal courts. And
Was it loud? Was it really loud?
The bass was very loud, I heard the bass.
what's happening is it wasn't loud at particular times. as different speakers got up, some speakers were more animated than others, is what was happening.
And she was saying too that,
Music was loud.
Was it
yeah, she said the music was loud, and she said
And
because the
it was
speakers
like
were,
9:30, 10.
Was it amplified?
yes,
Oh, good for it.
they were speakers. So the speakers were facing the river, and she lives across the river, so she felt like the noise was carrying louder than it might even if you were like the side or
And the
whatever.
problem with those folks that are across the river.
If you're not their police force.
I'm not, and it's hard, I can come ask them to turn it down, but I can't really regulate anything for them across the river.
Tell me you're proud that I know that. I knew that, Hannah. I'm a learner.
Well, I could hear it at my house and, I was worried it was duets, so I walked over to duets to make sure the duets wasn't causing the issue, and it's not. It's, you know, where we're talking about, it's down here in that tent.
What piece of property was that on? Was it?
Arlene Lane. Isn't it?
Yeah,
Am I right?
yes, it's down Arlene Lane.
So,
It's about it on the property.
that they just now created?
They did
or
it last
been
year.
there?
No, they did it like a couple months ago.
Remember when they did it before?
Yeah.
Cause I
So
do
just
remember I
throw it
could hear it in my
together.
house even.
But
They
this
just
is
do it
loud,
when they're-
this is the loudest I've heard.
When their Christian group wants to get together, I'm not
Oh,
sure.
so it's been an ongoing thing.
This is the second
The
time.
second.
Oh, okay. So I just wondered why it hasn't come up before, only 2 times. And it's always been there, but I guess they got new speakers.
We asked them, the first time we asked them to turn it down, and, like I say, it's tough because it's what someone feels at that moment is disturbing, right? I sort of like the state law, there's 85 decibels that you have something
Measure.
physical that you can measure it with. So that's why I refer a lot of people to come to this court and sign your complaint against them there. I can give you all the information on who the people are, if that's what someone wants to do. But, that way they can come and sign the complaint that, hey, this was a nuisance. It's hard for me to document your nuisance. But I will, if, or any of our officers will, and we'll go address that. So please call in the future. Sir, yeah, I don't think you have my number, but I'll make sure you get it. That way you can call, because you're right here.
He told me not to give it to you. He said,
No, that way you can call me and I can make sure someone gets over there. You know, we get dispatched to the sheriff's office, so sometimes they like, hey, that's a city issue.
Hey, I think your personal number might be on the wall at the convenience store.
I think it is.
Not good.
Just saying, that might be where they got it.
So, yeah, but, so sometimes the sheriff's office is that way, nothing negative about them at all, so they dispatch for us all the time, but sometimes when it's just a city issue like that and it's not too loud, they just don't like dispatching for that.
Well, can I ask you, and I don't wanna jinx you, but, how are the vehicles functioning?
You jinxed me last time.
Okay,
Don't brag.
everybody knock on wood.
Don't brag.
Our vehicles are good, but
Okay, good.
at this moment, I mean, we're still.
And then
"Far so good."
I have one last thing. What if there's an Airbnb on a street and they have a lot of people there, but it's not a registered Airbnb and the neighbors were complaining about it? What process needs to start about it? I
You
mean,
know,
they filed a complaint.
okay, so I don't know the answer to that because I don't know where we are with our Airbnb ordinance. I thought we were supposed to be re-looking at that and readdressing some items on that.
That is not on the agenda, sir.
I'll shut up.
Okay, but
We
we'll,
weren't gonna talk about that.
We were about to, and then I was told,
Okay, I'm.
we're putting it on next
We'll
time.
talk
We'll put
about
it
it.
on next time's agenda, and
Okay.
we'll let it all hang out.
yes. Okay, good.
But the same thing applies if there's a nuisance and there's a noise ordinance and there's people there, we will go address those. As far as the Airbnb not being on some kind of list or anything, I can't say nothing to that right now.
We'll work on that.
All right.
Thank you.
We're good, we're moving on to the next one.
All right, any other items? Speak now or forever. Does anybody have any items to be on the future agenda?
So you're having the attorneys looking at the zoning, planning and zoning, ordinances, you said, right? So we don't need to.
It's the city planner, it's not the attorneys at this point, but then it will go to the attorneys after she's gone,
Okay.
to make sure that.
So the city planners get a lower rate than what the attorneys get, right?
Yeah.
I guess we need to see about the park, what he mentioned about if we wanna put the sign up and start to talk about the sign at Nancy Martindale Park.
That would be
Do we
awesome.
wanna put any kind of obstruction, like we talked, the butter sticks or whatever, and then by the time you have it on the agenda, I'll have a price quote of the butter sticks, but we do know that we did get a quote of the $1,500 to put the poles up on either side to hold the sign. And what do we want do we want the sign to just look like the bait sign? I think.
Is that wooden or is it, what is it made of?
I think it's just a wooden sign.
That's what I think too, wooden. I think it looks nice. Do we know any?
Yeah, I'd like to see them do something, I mean, it's down there, like something like a nice wrought iron gate, like a gate sign where it's.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Where it's just gonna be spread, cause it's gonna be pretty wide, it's not gonna be narrow like a.
Oh.
It's pretty wide that you can put up like a nice sign on either end, put up what I'm thinking about, the QR codes. And we can probably get another QR code for the park rules and one for the pay park.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Nice.
So,
And
yeah,
then it's up high where they can't destroy it.
And wrought iron probably couldn't be just, well, never know, but.
and then how are we doing with the 44 street signs that you said were gonna get replaced and?
Yes, what are you people doing when you're driving? They are ordered, they are not in, yet, but I would assume, I mean, it's been a very ongoing, long process. The only thing left to figure out about that is, maybe I can give you an update by next time. But what we can't figure out is the installation. Dwayne got, I think, 2 quotes from different sign installers. And they both came in right neck and neck with each other. It's like $7,000, close to, just to install the signs. It costs more to install them than to actually make them.
Same time, man.
But it seems really high. Yeah, we agree. I just don't know what to do because they were the only 2 sign installers we could find. We had to like go through. I think we went through Turk and
This sign, what kind of expertise?
Just get.
it's the equipment.
Yeah.
It's the equipment.
Oh, that makes sense.
You have to have the equipment to
I know one neighbor has a
get it
poster.
driven in really far, because if you don't, then they can be manipulated and knocked out easily or taken, stolen, and that's why we're missing 44. We think, we're not sure.
Or if you could rent that.
I don't know things.
I would think we could.
Where
But
from,
it's
like
good.
the sign.
It's a lot.
There's a place
It's
downtown.
just significant labor, 'cause that's a lot of signs and different locations, you're gonna be moving this from point A to point B. We got the sign list, some of them don't have poles, some of them need the poles, some of them are gonna need the brackets.
So they're not replacing a sign that already existed and there's already a hole there?
Some of them.
Some of them are,
Okay.
but some are not, there's no sign there, it's been gone for years.
Mhm.
So we're trying to look at getting all the signs put back, so.
Yeah, because some of them are safety signs, like stop.
Oh, yeah. So,
T-plus design.
there's 40 of them that need?
44.
44.
The cross.
Between names of streets and like stop signs and. I know, it's crazy. Speed signs.
We talked about the speed, yes, I've covered the speed signs.
Yeah,
So when we talked about the speed signs, instead of going everywhere and putting speed signs all through the city and cluttering up the city with a bunch of speed signs, on all the major thoroughfares coming in, we ordered some signs that say the speed limit is 35 unless otherwise posted.
There you go.
So every entrance to the city will have those type signs. And then there's a prima facie speed anyway, so they have to go by that.
there you go.
Okay, and then one other thing that we've been talking about a lot is the expansion of the mail delivery.
Yes, thank you for bringing that back up. We gotta get back
I
to
have
that.
people asking me about that.
I
all the
know it.
time. When are we gonna, because they go to the post office and, well, should we pay for my
I know.
box? No, you don't have to. No, you can put a mailbox up. And then I'll stop at this.
No, it's fine.
But if we decide to put mailboxes in the historic district,
Mhm.
they should be consistent and look.
Yes.
Well, that's an opinion, but you're only one member of 5, so if all 5 wanna do that, then we'll do it.
Well, it is in the historic.
No, it's a very good point. It's a very good point, but it is.
Because I start to see a sign, a mailbox here, one there, and there's no consistency. So
Somebody has a brand
you
new
may
one.
have some input on it
You
later.
need to make sure they're on the side of the street that the mail person can deliver to. Is it on the right side, left side? Makes a big difference.
It's been talked about and it's very,
Well, the mail person comes over and drives on the right side. She
The
drives the
historic
car.
commission wanted the historic houses, because it would have been contextually appropriate to have the mail slots on the front of the house, like on your door or beside your door, because that's what they would have had. They wouldn't have had mailboxes that show out. And, they were saying that the best part of that would be that it would get back at the mail company because they would have to walk from house to house.
Well, can you imagine what would happen at your house if somebody slid mail through a slot in your door?
Oh, it would be the most exciting time of the day, but I would never get a piece of mail. That's all I have every day. Yeah, so anyways,
Yeah,
that was just
thank
a
you.
thought, is like that whole, what to do with the historic district has had several different concepts, and we can talk about them all,
okay,
whatever people want. Yeah, but I did put that down, so that we
okay,
can back
thank you,
I will see if I can get us an update.
thank you.
Okay, so, in that event, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:12 p.m.
A second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the meeting is adjourned. Wait, I need my calendar at 8:12.